And I am live, I guess. Uh, can't believe it's only going to be 1 o'clock here in Texas. Feels like it should be like 4 o'clock. So I don't know. It's Thursday, well, Friday now here in Tejas, and nothing worthy to watch right now. So set to open up a stream. If somebody shows up, I'll probably delete it. But yeah, bored. Trying to see who you know let's join. I'll probably put a link in the chat. Still trying to work on 100 subs. I'm only 7 away. Yeah, no, tomorrow's my night, or later tonight is my night. Well, technically it's my night, so wait. That's why I'm posting earlier. It's my night anyway. I'm just posting early in the morning. I don't know why. Yeah, I'm bored. Edge of time, what's up? The hoax. A hawks? A hooks? The hicks? I don't know. Hey, you want to come on? You could come on, man. There's a link in the chat. You haven't talked in a while. We had a good chat last time you were on my channel. I'll give it 15, 20 minutes. Nobody decides to come on. I might just end it, but Okay. Edge of time. Thank you for showing up, brother. Thursday, not much going on. I haven't seen too much craziness. There's been a lot of craziness lately, but I haven't seen too much of it the last couple of days. Went on Ashley's My Bad stream last night, and the I don't know. I want to what you meant at the time. I'm just messing with you. Yeah. So yeah, it was a very short show. She had shit to do. I respect that. She's dealing with her own issues. So hey, why not? Real life comes before YouTube. But I mean, I don't like stir up nonsense on my channel because I'm very small. But if those that did notice, the infamous captain was, of course, as usual, trying to call people out, particularly me, in the not just the chat, but on the panel as well. And well, as my brother from another mother, Scotty, put it, we gave him a cold shoulder. Like, yeah, we don't care. And that's that. It is what it is. So I think people are getting kind of a bored with your little whatever you want to call it. I don't know. I'm not even trying to start anything because I'm just, to quote your new BFF Carol, I'm bored. I'm bored. Bored. It's boring. So we could either all come up with a compromise and be all friends again because we're all friends. We all support each other. All the small channels should just be supporting each other. And I don't know why a certain person like Captain Infinity, pick a name, dude. Come on, man. How many you change your name more than Puff Daddy does? I don't know. Was it P Diddy, Puff Daddy, Diddy, Daddy, Puff Daddy, Diddy, Daddy? Who cares? Pick a name, dude. I don't give a shit if that's the name of your new comic. Nobody gives a fuck. But I'm like, we should always supporting each other. Period. End of story. Especially next month. I mean, spoiler alert. I mean, I was gonna wait till next week, but next month ain't gonna be no Insomniac hours on my channel. Next month is finally my time to shine. It's October, which is Halloween, which means horror. Woot woot. My time to finally shine. Woot woot. What? I got some fun shows planned. I hope to get some people that I've probably never been on my channel before. Oh yeah, I don't know. I've been in talks with the infamous the Richard. I've been DMing him. He's gonna help me out. Hopefully, he can help me get some special guests. I mean, yeah, I know. Probably one of the smaller channels, but hey, who cares? Next month, my time to shine. I'm not even going to call it the Insomniac Hour. I don't even know what I'm going to call it. I'm going to, I'm going to leave it up to my audience, leave it up to my subs, leave it up to people that know me, what I'm really known for, which is, of course, horror. So, whatever y'all think I should name my videos for next month, Halloween. I'll welcome anything. The best one, whatever y'all decide to suggest, I'll welcome it. And the best one, I'll choose it. And who knows, you might get a special shout out. You might get a special appearance on my channel. Anybody's welcome to my channel. I don't care. Anybody's welcome. I don't care who you are. I'm just finally looking forward to finally being it. I didn't get to do it last year, not to get too personal. But, it wasn't too personal. I had started a job at Amazon. It's nothing new if you know me. If you watch my past, October of last year, I started my job with the Amazon, and I worked the nights. So yeah, that's why I was unable to finally shine as a Black Phillip Alvarez. But now we are in 2022, new year, so now I can finally get to shine. And I got some. Oh yeah, sure. I mean, I've told a few people of these subjects that I want to cover. So I'm sure nobody's watching. If you're watching, hey, good for you. Spoiler alert. Don't spoil it. If you do hear it, I got 4, maybe 5 topics because I, as usual, I post on, stream on Friday nights. So I got about 4 Fridays to post in October. So the first week I went to cover my favorite horror icons. And people like to do top 10s. I don't like to do top 10s because as I always say, my rankings change daily. So I'm just gonna post my. They're not gonna be ranked. They're just gonna be like top. They're just gonna be like my 10 favorite horror icons. Period. And if you don't know who they are, you're gonna have to wait. And that first video will probably be on October 7th. And then the next week, I want to cover my favorite horror directors. Man, I'm trying to get to somebody special on that panel. We'll see. Who knows? I got time. I got time to DM people that I know. People. I mean, I might be a small channel, but I still know people. Don't get me wrong. I might be small, but hey, it's not the size of the boat, it's the size of the ocean, right? I know some people. Got about 2 or 3 people, 4 people in mind. I want to get some, unfortunately, like I said, it's horror month, so no nerd shit. No offense. Okay. Nerd shit is what made me who I am. I'm not going to lie. But the only person I know that I would want to have on every stream of October is my boy Scotty, because I didn't know nobody with that. I mean, he's adaptable to any subject matter, no matter what. He'll take the time to do the research. He'll take the time to add his own little persona that's made him who he is. The Skyler that we all love, the Skyler that we all depend on. He's always there when we need him, and so I can't picture myself doing horror month without my boy Scotty. Start doing your homework, boy. I'm just kidding, man. Research horror icons, research horror directors, research underrated. I don't like to do overrated. I think overrated is a stupid shtick, which is what's up?
Greetings, horror fans. I promise
Hey,
to
what's
keep
up,
you
Mr.
of your
Time?
boredom.
No,
I
I'm
can.
not bored. I mean,
You were a little bored,
hey, whatever it takes to get somebody on, right?
I guess. I was bored, so good on you.
You kept watching, right?
So, do you watch Lovecraftian horror?
Well,
Like,
most of my horror is like mostly like old school, like 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s. I like Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, Friday the 13th, body horror, like with David Cronenberg.
yeah,
Old school shit. I mean, yeah, the old school. I mean, old school. I mean, horror goes back like way, like in the 20s and 30s. Like Nosferatu, which was like one of the first horror movies ever released, like back in what 1920. What?
well, I saw a good Cthulhu type one. I think it was called The House Below, something like
Oh,
that. It
right,
was a.
right, right.
Did you see that? It was a dive film.
Mm-hmm.
There's only one thing I didn't like about that. Like, I got kind of sick of her screaming on the mic after a while.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it is a horror film, but like on the second time around, I was like, okay, I was ready for it. But the only thing I didn't like about that one was spoilers, is when they couldn't escape out the top. Like, there was no reason except horror movie. You know what I mean? Do you remember that
Yeah.
part? I
Yeah.
was like, everything else was feasible. I wish that something would have collapsed to prevent their way instead of just, oh, you can't go that way. You know what I mean? But
But
other
yeah,
than
no,
that,
no
I,
horror movie ever has logic. I think we all can establish that. I mean,
yeah, but I mean, it was so easily rectifiable. But for I don't know, I like that one. That was
mm-hmm.
4 out of 5 for me. And then, have you seen the deep ones where
No.
well, it's basically this couple uh, gets like an Airbnb and they're being spied upon by the cultists,
Oh, right, right, right.
and they're trying to the I don't know. The woman is there's a woman, she's been impregnated by the deep ones. They're just trying to pull him into the cult basically. They
Right.
hypnotize the dude.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen that one?
No, I have. But it sounds intriguing. So I mean,
It is good.
anything you suggest, I mean, if it's horror, I'll gladly watch it. Everybody
Yeah.
always gives me pointers like, you gotta watch this on Netflix, you gotta watch this on Hulu, you gotta watch this on Amazon. I'm like, oh, okay, if I have the time, yeah, I'll watch it. Yeah.
Yeah, so the deep ones is cool, but when you actually see the deep one, he does come off as kind of a rubber monster. So 4 out of 5, but it's how do you make something that horrible come out of the water and all that? So
I don't
I
mind
mean,
cheesy horror. I don't mind cheesy horror. I'll watch anything horror. As long as it's horror, I'll watch it. You know me. I mean, people that know me know I watch anything that's horror. I don't care if it's cheesy. I don't care if it. Production value doesn't mean nothing to me as far as horror. I'll watch whatever.
you know what? It's hard to watch the Texas Chainsaw Massacre because it's so many and the titles are so similar. It's like
Yeah.
somebody doesn't own the copyright or something, because
Mm-mm.
there's got to be something weird for that there to be that many movies with the same title and all that. But
No, I mean, I saw the one that it was earlier this year on Netflix. I'm like, yeah, okay, it's gory. I mean, yeah, who doesn't love gore if you're a horror fan? But I mean, there's
is that
still
is that the one where the girl kills herself in the car?
pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, he goes into the that bus and he pretty much like guts everybody in that bus. I'm like, all right, I get it. It was a short ass movie. It was like barely 80 minutes. I'm like, okay, I see where this is going, but you don't give two shits about the characters. I mean,
The one I also don't like, the one where she inherits the mansion or whatever. She inherits the
oh, that was
farmhouse.
that the one that was called the Texas Chainsaw. That she found out she was a descendant of the
Right.
original family.
I, I didn't I didn't make it through that, but the rest of them I kind of liked. I like the one where they've got Leatherface in the nut house. Have you seen that one? It's called Leatherface, I think.
Yeah, I enjoyed that one. Like I
Yeah,
said,
Leatherface was good.
That's one of the few good remakes I actually like. I like the one with the what's his name? What's your name from the Fast and the Furious? Jordana Brewster was at the beginning. It was called Texas Chainsaw. It's called The Beginning.
Oh, The Beginning. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was the second one. No, the one with Jessica Biel.
Mm.
That's the one. I quite enjoyed that remake, honestly.
Is that the one where they get into the family and
Mm-hmm.
everybody? There's like 6 or 7 family members.
Yeah, they're trying to go to like some concert, and then they get you know diverse into the house, and one of the ones involved is W. Lee Emery, the guy from Full Metal Jacket. He's the one in charge. He plays the sheriff. He's bonkers crazy in that one too. I'm like, holy shit! It's like he's playing like a caricature of the same character he played in Full Metal Jacket. I'm like, oh shit! And he's in the second. He's in the next one too, The Beginning. I'm like, okay, I see what you did there. So I mean, I appreciated that. It's one of the few horror remakes I actually like. Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Who do you think's the best streaming service for horror?
I don't watch Shudder. I mean, I know Shudder's supposed to be popular for streaming services, as far as horror. And there was this other one called what Fear.net. What they charge you like almost $20. I'm like, I mean, Netflix has a pretty good mixture of horror.
I feel like I've seen them all on Netflix. Like I can't find anything to watch. Same with HBO.
Yeah, HBO is pretty good, and so is Hulu, Amazon. I'm subscribed to all those streaming services. So there's that Fear.net. There's that Shudder. I think there was another one I heard what's it called? I can't think of the name right now.
Did you see Cold Skin, where they're stuck in those lighthouses and like all the merfolk come out of the water and attack them every night?
Oh wow! No, I never heard of that. But
that's a good one.
That sounds pretty good.
That was made by Shudder. It is a good one. The book's good too.
Mm-hmm.
Cold Skin, but you gotta be down for the Kraken cut because it's nasty.
The Kraken cut. No, I mean, I love me some good gore, but if it's like force, I mean, like, no, come on. If you use like CGI blood, or if it's the makeup effects are too waxy, waxy or too CGI, I'm like, no, fuck that. So you seem like you have a good knowledge of horror. So I mean, like I said, I mean, my next month I want to bring on people I know who only know horror. So if you're familiar with horror, I'm glad you bring you on my panel.
I kind of am. Let's see. I don't. As far as like let's see, Friday the 13th. That's who's the antagonist?
The first one,
yeah,
the mother. His mom. It's not Jason. Doesn't.
Yeah, Jason's just in the lake. So I've seen a couple of those. I don't. I haven't made it to like. There's like 8 of them or something, isn't there? 6 of them.
Oh, there's about 13 of them. Well, there's 8, 9, 10. You got Jason X, and then you got Freddy versus Jason, and then you got the remake. So that counts. That's canon.
Oh, I think I saw the remake. Wasn't that a Rob Zombie film?
No.
No,
that was done by the same one that did the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. Marcus Dispel. Yeah, I didn't like that one. I thought it was too. It was almost borderline pornography, to be honest. I'm like, holy shit. There's more sex in that movie than any other Friday the 13th movies combined. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Is
Yeah,
this like a Skinamax version of Friday the 13th? I'm like, what's going on here?
I don't think I've made it past Halloween 3.
What?
You got to keep going.
Yeah. There's about what six, seven. Well, before the remakes, yeah, they went all the way up to Halloween Resurrection, which was the seventh. Then Rob Zombie did his two versions of Halloween. The first one I liked. The second one was just too all over the place. I'm like, no, Rob Zombie, I love you, Rob Zombie, but no, the second one sucked.
Yeah, it was okay. Uh, I never saw the second version of it because I didn't like it the first time.
Oh man, it chapter two.
Yeah,
it was all over the place. It was a bit bonkers. I mean, and it was like 2.5 hours long. I'm like, no horror movie needs to be 2.5 hours long. You could have cut that shit down. I mean, regardless if the book is 1,000+ pages, I mean, not every little detail of that book needs to be portrayed on screen. I mean,
yeah,
they did it obviously for you know, cancel culture reasons. They can't do the scenes where the kids have, they're blinking each other. So
yeah. I don't.
if
I
you've
didn't
ever
like
read
the book
if you've
either. Oh,
ever
I've
read the
read.
book,
It
so
was
you need,
disappointing. Yeah, I've read the book.
yeah. Yeah, that's one of the few books that Stephen King he wrote while he was on his cocaine binge. So
So, what's the attraction to the Vivage? I know that's important for you. I haven't seen it. I've seen like
the
the opening
Vivitch.
the opening thing.
Well, minus the obvious fact that it inspired my YouTube name. That many people still to this day do not understand. Like, oh, what's Black Villainy? I'm like, watch the movie The Vivitch or The Witch.
Did you
Oh,
watch? Have you seen Midsummer?
oh yeah, that's a great movie.
Oh, it's kind of
It's
grossed
just
out, man.
it's a slow burn, but man, when it gets going, it gets going. That scene where they're all leaping over the hill. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And like
Yeah,
it
it
doesn't
does take a
even
big left turn.
it doesn't even shy away. It literally shows when that dude jumps off the cliff. It's like he splats. I'm like, oh shit, it's that kind of movie.
Yeah, I've never seen Scream either. Is
What?
I think? Well, is it a comedy? What is it exactly? It's hard to watch. It's a parody
Scream,
of
I
horror
would call
movies.
Scream a satire. I wouldn't call it a parody. I would call it a satire of horror.
Mm.
But it's still quite scary, to be honest. I mean, it's Wes Craven, and Wes Craven, I'm gonna spoil my first damn video, but nobody's watching, so who cares? So, Wes, Wes Craven created my all-time favorite horror icon, Freddy Krueger. I mean, I worship the hell out of Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, I should go back and revisit it, but I haven't seen it
No, what?
since high school. I don't think.
Well, yeah. I mean, the first Freddy movie I saw was on those back in the day when he used to have those USA Up All Night, and he used to show nothing but horror movies. So that was my first introduction to Freddy Krueger. And then it wasn't until part three, one of my neighbors, luckily he was big into horror too. We were both like 9 and 10 at the time, and we went to go see Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, Dream Warriors, which is actually my personal favorite Nightmare on Elm Street film, Dream Warriors.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, spoilers. So, like, yeah, number one horror icon for me is Freddy Krueger, for sure.
Well, doesn't he get stronger the more you're afraid of him or something?
I mean, people shat on him because yeah, he got more silly as the movies went on. I'm like, well, where else do you think he was going to go? I mean, like he was serious the first movie, and then the second movie, which is now notorious for being super homoerotic. because of the homoeroticism. I mean, if you've ever seen Freddy's Revenge, I mean, you know what I'm talking about.
Freddy's Revenge. I don't think so.
It's the
But
one, the main antagonist. It wasn't, while the first movie it was Nancy. It was the second one, I believe his name was, what the hell's his name? Well, I gotta look it up. Hold on. I don't sound like a dumbass. Which ironically, he was played by a gay man. So I think that's also what contributed to being identified as a homoeroticism movie.
well, I like The Shining, but it doesn't stand up to repeated watching. I've decided.
Yeah, I mean, I love The Shining. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, you gotta be in a certain kind of mood to appreciate The Shining. Like you
Right.
can't. Okay, I want to pop in The Shining. I'm like, no, like you gotta be like in a certain mood. That's how I feel about
Yeah.
any horror. Like I decided this year to like start, to prepare for my channel, because after, but like probably got about two more streams before I start my horror
Extravaganza.
extravaganza. So okay, I got time. So yeah, but watching horror right now, it's gonna get me in the mood. It's gonna get me more how do I say it? It's more stamina. It's gonna give me more confidence. That hey, this is what I want to do next month. And I've never done it before. Because the majority of my streams, as you know, are I don't have topics. But next month, like horror month, I have to have topics, and I do have four or five topics that I want to discuss. And so, if
That's
I
cool.
start watching horror movies now, it'll get me into that momentum. It'll get me into that groove. Like, oh yeah, your month's coming up finally. Like, Black Phillip, it's Black Phillip's time to shine finally. Like, ooh,
Well, The Thing is rewatchable. I could watch The Thing. That's
oh hell yeah,
considered Lovecraftian. It's
oh
kind of
yeah,
like
for sure.
At the Mountains of Madness.
Oh yeah. I mean, and Guillermo del Toro has been trying to make it the Mountains of Madness for years, but it's just some rights issues, and like, I don't know. He lost the rights, I think, like 2 years ago, and he tried again, and they denied him. Like the guy
I
won an
don't.
Oscar. Why would you still deny him?
Yeah, I don't know about that because Lovecraft's works are all in the public domain, so I don't know who he
Mm-hmm.
would be fighting for. You
Who knows?
know,
Maybe
yeah,
it's
who
some
knows?
kind
It
of
might. It might just be. I think it'd be a challenge, no matter what, to pull that one off. I've seen a visual novel of it. You know what a visual novel is?
right.
Where
Yeah, I know what it is.
people do kind of graphics and music and stuff, but they don't. It's more drawing than it is. More like a comic book than it is a movie.
Right.
I've seen. There's a really good one of Mountains of Madness. So it can be
Mm.
done, but yeah, you need someone like Guillermo del Toro.
I don't know. I mean, it'd be Guillermo del Toro and what's his name? Alfonso Cuarón. Maybe they could collaborate. They're both Mexican directors, so maybe what's his name? Alejandro. The one that won for the Leonardo movie there? He finally won his Oscar for. It's Revenant. No, what's it called? Revenant. He won like two Oscars back to back. They're all Hispanic. They're all Mexican directors. So, I mean, they should all like
Yeah.
collaborate.
Yeah, it never made it through Poltergeist. Have you finished Poltergeist?
Oh, I love Poltergeist. I saw it the other night
Really?
in 4K.
I don't know. It's just wasn't doing it for me. I guess caught it on the wrong night. I guess
Yeah, you gotta be in
because
the mood.
it doesn't that have a famous director?
There's a Hollywood, I guess you could say, what do you call it, urban legend that Steven Spielberg actually directed it, but that Toby Hooper was credited as the director, but that Steven Spielberg, excuse me, actually directed it. Actually, he was filming E.T. at the same time, so no.
No.
But then E.T. had a whole bunch of delays because they couldn't get the prosthetics right for E.T.
Oh yeah. That didn't.
So he was going back and forth between E.T. and Poltergeist, and there's rumors that Steven Spielberg is the actual director of Poltergeist. I don't buy it. I mean, it is what it is. It makes good clickbait, so whatever. It is what it is. I mean, it's not even on my list as a top horror film, Poltergeist. Yeah. As much as I adore it, I mean, it's not even in my top.
Did you ever read the story that inspired Hellraiser? That's a hell of a short story.
Oh yeah, of Clive Barker. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, what I understand is like this new version of Hellraiser is going to come out on Hulu like in about 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah,
they're questioning it because Pinhead is played by a female actress. I'm like, really? And like, if you've actually read the actual story of Hellraiser, Clive Barker, he claims that Pinhead is androgynous.
Right.
He doesn't have a sex. He's not male. Pinhead is not male or female. He's an androgynous.
Right.
Right. So who the hell cares if they get a female actress for once to play Pinhead?
I don't care.
Like, I don't care. All these little woke folks are trying to make a big deal about it. Pinhead can be played by a female. Have you read the original source, bro? Get the fuck out of here.
Clive Barker is gay,
Yeah, so. He's openly gay, and he's in his Hellraiser, and the majority of his novels are pretty much they don't shy away from the homoeroticism. I mean, and rightfully so. I mean, he's gay, so why wouldn't he be writing something that's based on his sexuality? I mean, yeah, probably controversial at the time, but nowadays, I mean, please.
Probably I think the original. I think the original's pretty good. I don't really think they'll be able to beat it. Honestly,
they never beat the original. Come on, I only like the first 3 Hellraiser movies, to be honest. Like,
well, you can beat the original. The original, The Thing, isn't as good as the 80s.
The thing from the thing from another planet. It's actually been remade 3 times. So, like the Howard Hawks version wasn't even the original The Thing version. He was a remake of a remake. So technically, John Carpenter's is the 3rd remake of The Thing. You got to go back.
I just Googled horror movies, and you can hover over these, and they'll tell you where you can watch it. That would have saved me a lot of trouble. I didn't know that. Yeah.
You're saying it's either Netflix and Hulu, I think, have the better. No, not Netflix. Amazon Prime has a pretty good. It's old school horror. I'm talking old school that you can't even watch anymore. You can't even buy it. You can't even rent it. And that's the shit you You got Amazon Prime. You can watch it on Amazon Prime.
They say that the Fly remake is better than the original.
That's only because David Cronenberg, because it was more of a body horror. Because the original Fly wasn't so much body horror; it was more of a psychological type of horror.
You think they'll remake Jaws?
God, I hope not. Well, Piranha was supposedly supposed to be like a parody of Jaws. And Universal actually tried to sue the makers of Piranha, but Steven Spielberg said, "No, I love Piranha," because he was friends with the director Joe Dante. I was like, "No, I love Joe Dante, and I loved what he did. Like, it was actually fun. It was stupid, fun, gory. I mean, like, yeah, Jaws. I consider Jaws a horror movie. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah.
It's definitely a horror movie. But like, oh, Jaws is not a horror movie. I'm like, the fuck out of here. Of course, Jaws is the horror movie. It's the OG. Like, come on. Like, Steven Spielberg like brought horror into the mainstream.
So what'd you
Well,
think of The Cabin in the Woods?
oh, I like that movie too. It's pretty meta. It's meta.
Yeah,
I don't
I
consider
liked
it.
it.
I don't consider it a parodies. Some people like to call it a parody, but I don't think it's a parody. I think it's more of a homage to like every single genre of horror because like especially once they get into that building. Once they hit that building and you understand what the real purpose of the movie is, you're like, oh, I see where they're going.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
can.
like,
They say Annihilation is a Lovecraft type movie,
yeah, I've
but
heard somebody, yeah,
I couldn't get to the end of it.
somebody tried to get me to watch it, and I tried to watch it. I'm like, this is boring.
Yeah, it's not.
And like, if you want to do horror, you gotta like get your shit like within the first 10, 15 minutes, or you're gonna lose your audience.
Yeah, you got
Like
to give us.
like, you gotta put that shit up front within the first 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Excuse me for 1 second. I gotta go.
Yeah.
I'll be back in like 2 minutes.
All right, go ahead. I'll just waffle away here. Well, I've not seen Morbius. Uh, I am aware that the comic book exists, but it's been given such a bad rap that I've not messed with it. I've not seen Doctor Sleep either, even though I enjoyed The Shining. And ahoy, ahoy, ahoy. Well, let's see. So my to-do list is The Witch, and let's see. Maybe The Black Phone. Yeah, I don't really understand Hulu, if I'm perfectly frank. I don't know how to quantify. Like I had a trial, like a 7-day trial to Hulu, and it I didn't think much of it. Oh, here's It Follows. I think I like that one. Well, maybe we'll talk about that one. Sort of curious about Nope. But it might be disappointing too. Couldn't finish Constantine. It's funny what Google considers a horror movie. Filtered by subgenre. Yep, the 80s was definitely an excellent time for.
All right, I'm back, man. Thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate that.
you bet. The 80s was tops for horror movies.
Oh, for sure. That's
Yeah.
what got me in it. Like, I'm a big slasher guy. Like the Freddys and the Jasons and the Michaels and even the Chuckies. So those are, I mean, spoilers. I mean, nobody's watching right now. I got 0 views, so I can spoil it. No.
So
Spoilers for my.
did you see Nope?
I haven't seen it yet. I wanted
Yeah, I
to
haven't
see
seen
it,
it
but
either.
I was dealing with a whole lot of personal issues with my family at the time, so I didn't have a lot of time to see a lot of the summer movies.
Did
The
you
only
see it? It Follows.
It Follows. I mean, somebody recommended it to me. I finally ended up seeing it on no, I rented it on a Redbox back in the day, and I was like, I didn't like it. I was like,
I liked it.
What's the big deal about this? Okay, yeah, it's about STDs. I'm like, okay, what is it like? Is it like a? Was it
Well,
trying?
because you couldn't tell what was paranoia and what was actually the creature. You had to assume it was all the creature.
You're right. No,
Because
I understood. I understood the concept. I was like, okay. So
because it
like,
took
is
so many different forms, but
it just like a social commentary against teen sexuality? I was like, okay, what was like
that's one of the things I don't like about horror movies, is that so much of it has the survivor girl as the lead. Sometimes I wish that I want to see men be men,
no,
manly
man.
men.
I totally understood the concept of it. I just didn't buy into it. I was like, this, like, where is this movie going? I mean, like, yeah, it has its scary elements and it has its moments, but just the way it ends, I'm like, okay. I'm like, what was it? Was this like some kind of social?
Where they're chucking shit in the water? That was kind of dumb as shit.
Yeah, and I was like, this is how you decide to end it, and like come on.
Yeah, it was kind of a good concept that didn't pay off.
Like
I know.
I heard they were supposed to do a sequel, but even the lead actress was like, I even heard that she didn't even care for the way it turned out. She was like, I didn't like the way that it was being filmed. And she came out and said, like, the way when it was released, like a lot of this good stuff was cut out. And so she claimed that it was just released as a generic horror movie.
Well, so there's no hope for the director's cut.
No, I don't think so. And I think the director has only done like one of the movies since. So, but yeah, he's not gonna be like no Jordan Peele or Ari Aster, the guy who did Midsummer and Hereditary, which will probably be on my underrated horror. I plan to do a video on underrated horror movies, so Hereditary will definitely be on there.
I don't remember that one.
You ever seen Hereditary?
I'll Google it.
Oh, you have to watch it. It's a slow burn. Don't get me wrong. I mean, but I actually like for horror to be a slow burn. I mean, you got to. Today's audience isn't as upfront as the older audiences, like in the 80s and the 90s. But you got to make it like boom, boom, boom right away. But like today's audience, you got to get them. You got to prepare them for what, because social media always spoils shit. So you got to make them earn it. Which is why I appreciate, the way Jordan Peele approaches horror. I mean, I haven't seen
I remember that. Yeah, it's scary as shit, but
it's scary. It's creepy. It's creepy and more creepy than scary, I think, because I like to approach it horror in 3 different circumstances. It's either scary, creepy, or it just fucks with their head.
Yeah. Scary, creepy, or messes with your mind.
Messes with your head, like psychological, kind of like Silence with the Lambs and Seven. Yeah, Seven is a horror movie.
I can't remember it because everybody was comparing it to Batman, and I just couldn't remember it.
You could, honestly, this year's Batman, the Batman could be considered horror.
It could be considered boring too.
Yeah, whichever way you want to look at it. And so, in fact, I might just add it to my underrated horror movie, The Batman
Really?
from this year. I just might.
They could. I mean, they totally could make a horror film out of in the Batman world for sure.
Oh
Not
yeah,
hard to do
because
at all.
the way the Riddler, the way he handled the Riddler was it was definitely more of a serial killer type than obviously Danny DeVito, the one that we're most familiar with from the second Batman Returns. Which that one was a bit more hokey. But I mean, the way he handled it this year with Paul Dano, I mean, yeah, he was definitely more close to the serial killer type.
Chucky, oh Chucky! I love Chucky as a teen. I don't know that I've seen it in years though.
You ever seen the new TV show?
No, they got a
It's
Chucky
it's
TV
it's
show.
it's kind of a combination between the first trilogy and the second, like past Child's Play 3, and then they focus on the Chucky aspect. I mean, and Tiffany, which, hey, you got Jennifer Tilly. I mean, she was born for that role. I'm not lying. So, I mean, I appreciate Curse of Chucky just as much as I appreciate Child's Play 3. So, so yeah, spoilers. Like, yeah, Chucky's definitely in my top 5 horror icons. So, and I don't even like to rank because I think ranking is just silly. I like, if you like something, you like something. There's no
I can,
need to
I
like
can,
rank
I
them.
can, yeah, I can make it through American Horror Stories.
No, I couldn't make it past the second season. I'm like, no, these are silly. Come on.
Yeah.
Although the hotel one with the one they had with Lady Gaga, I heard was pretty good. And it actually got her a Golden Globe. So hey, good for her.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm a big Lady Gaga fan. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't know anything. Can't speak to the Gaga.
Look her up. Google's your friend.
Google's your friend.
Oh, come on, she wrote that song from Top Gun Maverick, the biggest movie of the year. Come on.
Yeah, I was offered a free ticket. I turned it down.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
No, I'm not gonna go see Top Gun, dude.
Oh, come
No,
on, man. It's
no.
actually really good.
Yeah, no, no.
No, I mean, I was the biggest advocate for against the Top Gun sequel. I'm like, how the hell are you going to top the original Top Gun? It's like the biggest. It's like one of the biggest '80s films ever. I'm like, how the hell are you going to top that? And I watched it in theaters, and I was like in awe the whole time. We're like, I did not expect the movie to be that good and that well made. Even the dogfighting scenes were like, you can tell they put a lot of care into those scenes to make it look realistic, even though it's bullshit, because that's not how you know they actually fight in real life. But I mean,
You
it's
you watch The Walking Dead?
not since the fourth season.
Really? I'm still clinging to hope here. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for Maggie to get it. Just right in the head.
Maggie's still alive. But
Yeah. Well, she went away to be a real actress, found out she couldn't cut it, and came back or something like that.
I stopped watching when they killed off Glenn. I'm like, oh fuck this.
Yeah, that's
You
about
kill
all you need to
you
do.
kill off the last good original character. I'm like, oh fuck this. I'm done.
But
Like the
anyway, it should be new episodes soon. Don't they start soon? Isn't it September, October? Isn't that when you get the
like the
new
final
season?
season or supposed to be
Yeah.
the final season.
Well, it's the
Maybe
second half of the final
second
season.
half of the final season.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. Don't get me wrong, I love the zombie genre. Don't get me wrong. I love zombies. Like, I was probably one of the few that actually dug Army of the Dead. I mean, I'm a big fan of the zombie genre, which wasn't even meant to literally be the zombie genre. Was obviously created by George A. Romero.
Mm-hmm.
They're originally meant to be like social commentaries. Like the original Nightmare, Night of the Living Dead was obviously supposed to be focusing on segregation,
Yeah.
and then Dawn of the Dead focused more on what do you call it? What do you call it? The media taking over. The social propaganda. Yeah, that's what it was about. Social propaganda. Dawn of the Dead. And you got Day of the Dead was about exploitation of American soldiers in war. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I can respect that.
Did you watch the Z TV series on
Hey,
Netflix?
Senator Richard, what's up? I'm sorry.
That's all
I
right.
just saw Senator Richard's comment. Okay, it's Ola, Kapala, and Cheers. Hope all is good in your respective hoods. You are carping. Yeah, somebody has a few joints. Rock on, Senator Richard. You can come on a panel if you want, bro. I don't care. The link's in the chat. I only had like 4 or 5 chats the whole time, and Edge of Time. It was Edge of Time, and he actually showed up on the damn panel. So anyway, I apologize. I don't know. I don't know what you were gonna talk about, but yeah, go ahead. It was still on your mind. Go ahead.
I'm still looking for the Walking Dead schedule to see when it comes on, because I've got AMC Plus. I bought it just so I could watch this stupid shit. but but
Also,
but they broke it. I don't know why they wouldn't call it 2 different seasons instead of breaking up one season into 2.
you got to get them ratings, man. That's what makes them the money. Come on, everybody knows that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
they only
guess
got
I
what?
guess
They got two spin-offs, and they're still not satisfied with the original series.
Well, no one's satisfied with the spinoffs. There's 3 now. There's Tales from the Walking Dead now, which are
And
just like, huh?
it,
They're like one-offs, like people you don't know. They just have one story arc in one episode. It just occurs in their universe.
well, yeah. I mean, if you see what Senator Richard says, I'm like, yeah. I mean, George O. Romero, he probably didn't invent this zombie genre, but American audience weren't familiar with the zombie genre because I'm sure what Italian audience. There's an Italian movie that was made about a couple of years before Night of the Living Dead came out. But America's not going to recognize a movie like that. You know, I forget what it's
I'm not
called.
sure. I have trouble keeping them. Keeping them. Night of the Living Dead, is that the one in the mall?
No, that's the
No.
original. That was the
Okay.
first one.
Okay. All right.
Dawn of the Dead is the one in the mall.
Okay.
Day of the Dead is the last one with
They're coming to get you, Clarice.
that's the one with the smart zombie, the former soldier. He was a Vietnam veteran.
Mm.
I forget what the name he was. What the name of that character was. So yeah, I mean the
I
way.
watched the John Carpenter one that was zombies in space.
Oh, Goes to Mars.
That wasn't that bad, but that's like 2 or 3 stars.
That movie's bonkers. I'm like, oh, okay, that's John Carpenter trying to create his own zombie movie. I'm like, yeah, okay.
I love those John Carpenter chops on the keyboard.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, he writes his own music too for his films. I mean, like, I just watched The Fog last night, and it's a very subtle soundtrack. But I mean, he likes to use the synthesizers.
See, the fog's another one I can't keep track of. I'm like, have I seen this or not?
It's like zombie. It's like kind of like zombie. They're like zombie pirates. It's not very scary, but it's very atmospheric. It's very old school horror. I would say like maybe 50s or 60s horror, which was always very atmospheric. It wasn't very like he didn't want it to be like scary because he didn't wanted to shy away from Halloween because he had just done no, The Fog came out in 1980. So yeah, and then the next year, a couple of years later, he did 2 years later he did The Thing.
So you're talking about not the original Fog, but the Fog remake. You're not talking about Stephen King's Fog. You're talking about some 1980s Fog.
Yeah, I watched it last night. It was done by John Carpenter.
I think that one's pretty good.
I mean, it's not bad. But it's a short movie. It's barely 90 minutes long. But I mean, it creates a good atmosphere. It's that typical old school horror, which I think was the intention John Carpenter wanted to do. Like I said, 50s, 60s horror back in the day, it was more like subtle. It wasn't like about gore. It wasn't about scares. It was more about just.
It was closer to the thriller genre.
Yeah, like the thriller, like the thrills. You know how the 50s and 60s were like, oh, the thrills, the chills, and the big old marquee events and this and that, and like matinee, which is the. Like Alfred Hitchcock. You had Alfred Hitchcock, and you had the Dario Argentos, and so So I mean, I can still respect that. There's not too many 60s and 70s horror that I actually enjoy, because I think they're a bit too subtle for my taste.
Yeah.
I mean, people don't like jump scares, but jump scares don't bother me. I'm like, well, that's what creates suspense, jump scares. So, what I mean? But you had like The Exorcist. The Exorcist is probably it's my all-time favorite horror movie of all time. I'm not even gonna lie. And
Really?
It was made in 73. Even that movie's a slow burn. So. Yeah. It's barely 2 hours long, but I mean, it feels like it's 3 hours at times. And I mean that in a good way. Normally, when you say a movie feels like it's longer than it actually should be, it's like you're like, oh, the movie sucks. Like, no, the movie feels longer than it actually is, just because it. And I think like The Exorcism scene takes up like 45 minutes of the whole entire runtime. So yeah, to me, I always consider The Exorcist like the greatest horror movie of all time. Nothing is ever going to top that. Nothing.
Wow, that's high praise.
No, yeah. I kind of wanted to do. I was debating if I wanted to do like a top horror movie, but I'm like, it's too obvious because, like I say, I don't like to do top 10s. Because like, man, I don't like they'll change every day. It changes weekly, monthly. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah,
like, whatever my damn mood is, I'm like, oh, this movie's better than this movie, or like nothing like the next thing. No, this movie's better than this movie.
That's why when I'm in chat, I've tried to ask people, like, what's your favorite horror movie? And they'll be like, well, I don't know. And I'm like, well, just name one, talk about one. Like, people don't realize that when you're in live chat, it's just an invitation to talk more than it is. Oh, we're gonna nail your ass to the wall if you say that something else was your favorite because and then you didn't, and then you changed your mind. You know what I mean?
Man,
No
mm-mm.
one's no one's gonna change. No one's gonna hold you accountable for
No,
rearranging the order of your top 10 list. I mean, come on.
I've never been a fan of top 10 lists. But like when when it comes to October and I do my list, it's not gonna be like any order. It's just literally gonna be just these are not gonna be in any order. They're just gonna be my top favorites. Period. They're not gonna be like from 10 to 1.
Yeah.
It's gonna kind of seem based on the way like, oh, well, this is 10 to 1. I'm like, no. I'm kind of thinking about doing the opposite way. Like I'll name my favorites first, and then gradually go down. Like doing the opposite because nobody expects that.
Well, I think doing reviews might help you with your subscriber count
Oh yeah,
because,
for sure.
yeah,
I'm hoping October will help me up my subscriber count for sure because that was the original intention of my channel. Period was to be based on horror, but it never came through, and so it just developed into what is now the Insomniac Hour, and you've been on a couple times. And
yeah,
so as Senator Redshirt, who's in chat. And I mean, so it's just about mostly a bunch of nerds bullshitting the whole night. But the original concept of my channel was to strictly be on horror. And so, like, that's why I'm so excited about October. Like, it's finally my time to shine. And like if you notice, like, I was pretty good about posting stuff. Like, I did reviews on Loki. If you see my old videos, I did Loki reviews. I did unboxings. I was doing the occasional movie reviews, the ones that I actually liked. And then I disappeared for like 9 months. So,
well, I can't believe we're coming around the horn. I mean, Christmas will be calling before I know it.
and there's actually Christmas horror movies too. I mean, you got what?
Bad Santa.
Bad Santa.
I hate that dude. I hate Billy Bob. I just can't stand that guy. I've like he makes a good villain because he just creeps me out by existing. I don't know why.
Yeah, because he used to be married to Angelina Jolie, and there was that whole that blood thing that they did. Like they have both of their bloods and some kind of what little jar or some kind of little
I don't
flask, and they
know.
wore it around their necks. I'm like, y'all are freaks, dude.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah. I
but
think.
anyway,
Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say if Senator Richard's still watching, like I know he knows a lot about horror. We had a backstage chat one time on horror, so I know he knows a lot about old school horror. So if he wants to come on my channel during the month of October, you're more than welcome, man. Just do your research, man. Because next month it's going to be totally different than anything that's ever been on my channel. I'm trying to take it's about horror, but I want to take it seriously.
So
Because I know
are you doing reviews? Or are you going to do it live? What's the scoop?
it's gonna my usual Friday streams. I mean, like I said, I want to talk about my favorite horror icons, my horror directors, underrated movies. Or if anybody wants me to cover a different subject, I'm more than welcome and open to suggestions. To be honest, that's why I'm bringing it up right now. A week or two before October. I mean, I'm more than open to suggestions of what y'all want me to cover. I mean, you have you on. I mean, obviously you like horror, you appreciate horror, and obviously I know Silver Redshirt appreciates horror. So, I mean, whatever subject you want me to cover, I'll gladly cover it. It doesn't have to be what I want. I mean, it's
What's
about.
what's the one that has the mustard blood, where the creatures have yellow blood?
Oh, it sounds like Peter Jackson. Like a Peter.
No, Phantasm or fan. It sounds like Phantasmagoria.
Phantasm.
Yeah, it's Phantasm.
The
It's
The Dunkirk. Yeah, I've seen that movie.
yeah, I like that one.
Yeah. Like no, I mean I'm down for talking about anything as long as it's horror related. It could be like shoot the most obscure horror movies you've ever seen, or like it could be anything. I don't care. I might do even more than 4 because it doesn't have to be just on Fridays. I mean October. Like I'm trying to get my channel more established because it was originally supposed to be based on horror. That's what we're trying to tell you. Edge of time.
Well, start cranking out the content. That's all I can tell
No,
you.
man. Now it's got to be like, oh, you can't share them on this day because this person's streaming. I'm like, fuck that. I mean, like, this is, October is horror month. I mean, and that's what I want my channel to be based upon. Like, if I got to stream on a different day other than Fridays, I'll do it. But it's got to be a reliable subject. And then I got to get reliable panels.
Well, like who? I mean, besides Friday Night Tights, who are you streaming against, or do you not want to say? I mean, where's the dilemma?
Who the hell could go against Friday Night Tights? Come on, man.
Well, no, I mean, I don't. Well, it's not on forever. What is it? It's like what 4 o'clock to 9 o'clock.
It's not even so much about being competition. It's just like finding the right night just to post, just to stream what I want to stream. I mean, it could be on Saturday. It could be like a Friday night. It could be a Saturday night. It could be a Sunday night. But yeah, I know the weekends are when everybody pretty much streams. No, I'm willing to sacrifice a couple of nights. I'm a big wrestling fan, so Monday nights is dedicated to Raw, and then Wednesday night dedicated to AEW, and then Friday nights is dedicated to SmackDown. So I'm like, and then like, okay, but I'm willing to sacrifice that. I'm like, so whatever makes my channel be what I want it to be during October. Because I feel as a month that I have to shine. Finally. Like, this is what I intended to last year. Last year at this time, I wanted it was supposed to be something big. I don't care about being big, to be honest. If I'm being honest. It's just about getting the content that I originally wanted for my channel. You get what I'm saying at the time?
I do. It's slasherific.
So yeah, you I mean, you sound like you appreciate horror. I mean, I know some Marisha appreciates horror, so I mean, if y'all, okay, I bring up a couple topics, y'all do your own. I'm not gonna tell y'all do your research because that sounds like rude, but
well, it doesn't hurt to be okay, we're going to talk about The Exorcist and the blah blah.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about this subject, this stream, and the next stream we're talking about this subject. So yeah, I'll definitely let you know ahead of time when I do a stream if you're willing to come onto my panel.
Oh, just depends on how the wind blows.
I know. It's always hard to get people on. So. Shoot, I'm hoping to get even Purple Valkyrie. I mean, I have her. I mean, I'm subbing to her. She's familiar with me. I know she's a big horror fan. I know you know who Purple Valkyrie is, right?
I don't know.
You don't know who Purple Valkyrie is? No. Jesus Christ. He's British. Yeah, I think I know you just from Captain streams. So, but yeah. Both Valkyrie, she's a pretty big into horror too. So I'll send her a couple of DMs, see if I can get her on my channel.
Well, everybody's into horror in October. Shouldn't be hard to
I know,
get people on board.
Jedi Bill. I know Jedi Bill's big into horror too.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm in contact with the Richard. I don't know if you're familiar with who the Richard is, but he works a lot. He used to work a lot with Robert Meyer Burnett. But that guy's big into horror too, and he's told me he could hopefully get a couple guests on my channel too. But like, if you can get them on my channel, fine. I mean, I'm small enough, so like nobody's gonna probably give a shit. But man, I just want it to be fun and stop horror. I don't care who comes on for real. But, like I say, like I know people. Believe it or not, I actually do know people on YouTube.
Well, I do not, so can't help you there.
Well, you're here right now, so that's what matters to me right now. So I didn't expect this stream to go over an hour. So you being on here is, of course, a big help to me and my channel. So I definitely appreciate it.
I like. Let's see. I think this author's name.
So yeah, people like you and Red Shirt, you know, the ones that always support the smaller channels. I mean, the ones that don't support hate, you know, like a certain somebody that we all familiar with. I won't name his name, but
Haters gonna hate. I like
Yeah.
John. I like John Wyndham. I consider him to be pretty close to horror, like
right.
the Midwich Cuckoos, the Day of the Triffids. You've probably seen Body Snatchers. That's based on the Day of the
I love
Triffids.
the bystanders. Yes, I have not the original. I have the one that was made in the 70s.
Yeah, yeah.
Look at Senator Richard. Excuse me, let me read Senator Richards.
Go ahead.
Said, Black Phillip Alvarez, you do seem to be legitimately quite quite well schooled in modern horror. Are there any other genres of film you enjoy? Well, of course I do. I do appreciate the action genre, the sci-fi. Oh, sci-fi genres I understand. I mean, I'm not like nerd shit like Star Trek and Star Wars. I can't give two shits about those franchises. But you know, my specialty is horror. I mean, obviously based on my YouTube name. I mean, it was established from the movie The Witch because it's like a play on words, like Black Phillip. I mean, that's the name of the character, but my actual name is Phillip. Like Phillip Alvarez is my actual name, but I just made my YouTube name like a play on words. It's meant to be both humorous and an honor to horror. And that's what people don't understand. So that's what I'm trying to get people to understand. And I think when I do my shows next month, I think people will probably be able to see the true meaning of the Black Phillip Alvarez channel.
Well, I look forward to seeing what you come up with. Sounds like if you're going to have guests, you'll be just as surprised as me.
As long as you watch, that's all I care about, brother. Like I said, if you want to come on the show, if it's a topic you're interested in, I'll gladly put you on the panel. That goes for you too, Richard. Like I want to kind of try to limit the guest because you know, unless they're like specialized in the genre, I mean, I don't mind. I'm not gonna. I don't want to.
Well, I mean, you know who the drunks are, man. There's just like you got to see how drunk they are, and
right. No, and I'm probably not even gonna drink during those streams. I actually want it to be serious. You know, the majority of my streams, yeah, I drink and I get drunk. But
no, I'm not. You're all right. I'm talking about others who drink and go on streams.
oh, I fully expect Scotty to be drunk every time he comes to my stream.
Yeah, I guess it's a case by case.
That's expected from him because that's what makes him comfortable. So like, I'm gonna tell him what to do. He's a grown ass man.
Yeah.
And that's what people love about him, apparently. So
Yeah, I like Scotty about any way I can get him.
oh yeah, Richard's asking the same question, I guess. I guess he's asking if you like horror, modern horror. I guess. So.
I like speculative fiction, so I like anything that's fantasy, science fiction, or horror. But it needs to have some sort of like. It needs to have an element like a giant spider could fall from the roof at any time. I hate just normie shit, you know, just, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, like cop shows and hospital shows and all that shit. I hate that shit.
No, I honestly do think that sci-fi and horror could become a sort of their own subgenre because you got movies like The Fly and the Alien franchise, and then you have these other films.
Well, you can also have subtakes of what I just said, like, you know,
Mm-hmm,
Blade Runner is a cop film. It's just
mm-hmm,
science fiction, you know.
right.
But I'm just trying to say I need an element of the fantastic. I need to like feel like something fantastic could happen at any moment. Otherwise, I'm not interested, you know.
Yeah, for sure. I understand where you're coming from there. Like I said, like I think sci-fi and horror are about as close as genres as you can get. I mean, like, yeah, there's horror comedies, you know, like Zombieland and Tremors and Arachnophobia, and that's fine. I love those movies to death. They're some of my top favorite films. But yeah, when it comes to horror and sci-fi, I mean, they're like salt and pepper. They just go good together. So, and yes, I do consider Alien the horror movie. It's not action.
Yeah, a lot of people consider that a Lovecraftian film because it is cosmic horror.
Yeah, yeah. I don't even hit on Alien 3. I think Alien 3 is a brilliant film. I mean,
I don't. I like them all to one degree or another.
I know David Fincher. I mean, it was his first Hollywood film, and so he blacklists it. He doesn't even consider it part of his resume. But like, dude, it was his first film. Hello, and then you've gone on to direct some of the best films of all time, as far as I was there, like Seven and Fight Club and Gone Girl, and those are some of my all-time favorite films. So I mean, yeah, his first film was an Alien sequel. Big deal. I mean, who wouldn't want that on their resume? Period.
I would.
They're
I
like,
would.
oh, my first film was an Alien movie. That wasn't that, and I think it's actually developed a cult following over the years. It's because it's 35 years old. It's 30. What's 30? Yeah, it's 30 plus years old at this point. Like, I think the older a movie gets, the more people appreciate it. I mean, I saw that movie in theaters, and I was 14 years old. But let me read what Sonoma Redshirt's saying. Okay, so it sounds like for Edge, there's got to be a little flavor of the bizarre, which I totally dig. When you couple it with horror, do you enjoy stuff like Cronenberg? He's talking like body horror, because that's what Cronenberg's known for, is body horror.
I haven't seen too many Cronenbergs. I've seen. Uh, did he do The Village? Was that a Cronenberg? No, that's
No, no, that was Shyamalan.
yeah. M Night Shyamalan Ding Dong.
No, Cronenberg's known for obviously The Fly, Rabid. He's known for Scanners, like all of like.
I did watch Scanners, and I have seen The Fly.
Yeah, he's known for body horror. That was his shtick. I mean, nobody did it better than him. In his early career, like later on in his career, he focused more on dramatic films. You know, like he did. Like I think like The Fly was actually like before he did. The Fly was like his last body horror, and then after that, he focused more on drama. But I guess he got bored with it. But yeah, Cronenberg, like he's definitely one of the better horror directors out there. I mean, depending on the type of horror, I mean, you like horror. I mean, horror has so many different subgenres. It's not even funny.
Did you see American Fable?
No, never
That's a
heard of
good
it.
one. I like it. It's it's written by a woman, but it's about a young girl on a farm in Iowa, and bad. They've got a. She finds a guy that's imprisoned in a grain silo,
Mm-hmm.
and she has this dilemma: like, does she help this guy? Does she not
Right.
help this guy?
Right. Oh, I like those kind of movies too. I mean, the kind sounds like sounds like psychological or maybe yeah. So,
Well, it's a little cliche if you've lived through the whole farm life thing. You know the whole he's up against it. They're gonna take the farm. You know what I mean? But
but yeah, that's
uh,
kind of like what the movie The Witch is about too. So it's farm life, and it's the way it's made. It's a slow. It's only a 90-minute film, and like the shit doesn't hit the fan for like the last 30 minutes. So I mean, the only thing that they really build up is the Black Phillip aspect of it. So, but then it shies away from the Black Phillip aspect, and it becomes more of a witch story. So yeah, I mean, it sounds pretty familiar with what you just described. I would say. Which for me, I have no problem with. I mean, yeah, horror can be whatever you want. I mean, there's no right or wrong way to make a horror movie. I think it's the one genre you can pretty much get away with anything you want. I mean, come on, we got a movie like Killer Clowns from Outer Space. There's a freaking movie out there called Rubber.
it's about
It's
a tire.
it's a freaking killer tire, literally.
Yeah,
Right?
I've seen parts of it. It wasn't that bad.
I know, it was actually pretty good. And then you got like that's probably one of the reasons why I like horror. I mean, you can get away with anything. Make it horror. I mean, come on. Damn, but like Chris, like, who knows you can make a horror movie out of a car like Christine. And that movie is like almost 40 years old next year. So
Yeah, I love seeing them come off the production line.
no, I know that's the best scene ever, and it's in the beginning.
Yeah,
And in the scene, like where they destroy it, like where they destroy her, and she puts herself back together. Like that's such a good scene. And the music sells that scene too.
near.
I know, right? That synthesizer music that Carpenter was known for.
I thought you were talking about Bad to the Bone when Christine rolls off the
Oh yeah,
assembly
yeah,
line.
yeah. Yeah, that too. I was talking about that scene where they beat the car to death, and but then it shifts itself back. It shifts herself back into place, and like the music, like sells that scene even better.
Yeah, I haven't watched that one in a while. It might be worth seeing again.
Oh yeah. I mean, only John Carpenter could make a horror movie about a car.
Pull it off.
Well, what Stephen King kind of did it with Maximum Overdrive, but it was with a
Yeah, I
truck.
think I prefer Maximum Overdrive.
Son of a red shirt. About damn time he showed up. Took you long enough, bro.
Here he is.
What the fuck took you so long?
Welcome.
Hello.
Hello, I can hear you.
Welcome.
Can you? Oh, you can. Sorry, boys. Had a little technical difficulty there for a second. Now I'm going to cough. Hang on. Oh, excuse me.
Don't
The hell
cough,
took you so
don't get
long? Like,
off.
come on, you've been in the chat for like 30 minutes. I'm like, took you so long.
I've been well, for me it's 3:13 in the morning here. I haven't gone to bed yet. I'm just kind of zombied out and was, let's say, doing a little God's work. By that I mean rolling and smoking a joint.
I see. Nothing wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. But I've also learned from my limited experience on these panels, it's often wiser to smoke that joint before you sit down and just light up, because it's when people, hey, how you doing? Talk to me. Hang on.
Okay,
Yeah, no,
nobody's
just
watching.
be cool.
I do
Nobody's
get
watching
jealous
anyway.
of Scotty.
Nobody's watching anyway, so come on, Richard.
That's right. Jesus,
I think
don't say
you and
that.
Ed, I think you and Edge of Time are my only viewers right now. So
It's horrifying.
I got bored. It was like 12:30 at night. I was like, I'm bored. Like, I mean, I know this is usually not my time to stream. Like, I'm just gonna open a stream and see what the hell happens, man. So luckily, Edge of Time showed up, and he, like, oh yeah, I've been having a good conversation about an hour and a half, Yeah, and you showed up in the chat. I'm like, well, get your ass on the damn panel already.
Yeah. Well, it's good. I'm glad to see you up talking movies. I like talking movies with you, but all we ever seem to do is talk horror films. I say all we ever. I've done it with you once. I was here on the show and we chatted for a while. I myself, I consider myself to be a bit of a movie buff.
Right.
I really do enjoy cinema, world film, old films. It doesn't matter to me. Cinema is, to me, the highest. I know it's a little, some people consider it gaudy, or some people consider it a little asinine to say that cinema is the highest art form we have. But I honestly believe that. And I believe that.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But I believe it in the most positive way. That right now, I'm not saying that nothing will supersede it one day, but it is the one art form that I believe can incorporate all the other art forms, almost all the other art forms, within its own genre. So it can be the most representative of art. It, represents acting, music, direction, writing.
For sure.
There's so much effort, thought, and storytelling. And that's a culmination. It's the culmination of what we are as a people. We are storytellers.
Absolutely.
We live to tell a story. And
I think I'd make a different distinction. I think it's great that it incorporates all that elements. I can see that argument, but for me, it'd have to be fiction writing, because there are times when you read fiction and you're there.
I'm gonna give you something to drink.
Do you feel like the same thing happens when you watch a movie? Are you there, or are you just sort of a passive participant? You see what I mean?
I suppose that's down to the individual. That's a difficult question to answer as a whole, because I'm not going to say we're all pretty little snowflakes that are so individual. We do have general camps and general groups of thoughts we have, which are based on where we live, how we live, what part of the world we live, what year we live in, our morals, and the way we think it's been forged by what we've seen. I don't disagree with you. Fiction writing is, to me, one of the highest art forms, but I do admittedly lump fiction writing in with writing, period. Yeah. And that's not trying to stick my nose up at fiction in any way, shape, or form, but I maintain writing is one of our most ancient art forms, not really nearly the most ancient. We haven't had the written language nearly as long as we've had pictograms or ideograms or stuff like that. But it was all working towards something. And right now, that something for me is film. So I don't in any way dismiss what you're saying, Edge. I hear you there. I do. I'm just saying that cinema is the one that, what I've seen so far, can encapsulate everything. I've seen some wonderful plays that had singing and dancing and incredible art direction and stuff, but you can put that in a movie.
Oh wow!
Yeah. Have you ever seen Singing in the Rain, the original Singing in the Rain?
Oh, that are He Who Shall Not Be Named claimed as a documentary.
I didn't get the joke, but
never.
No, I'm talking about Captain You Know Who. So
Captain, yeah. What about him?
He says that
he's always going on.
Singing in the Rain is his documentary. So.
Oh no, I've never heard him say that. Didn't he say Scotty said that?
Yeah, and he uses that as a joke. He steals people's jokes. So.
Yeah.
No, I have Singing in the Rain on 4K. I haven't watched it yet because.
Oh, what? You haven't watched it? Oh, treat you. Have you never seen it?
I've seen it, but just on the 4K.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sure it's going to be lovely. What about you, Edge? Have you ever seen Singing in the Rain?
I many moons, many years ago, I think.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't know how old you are, but if you do get the opportunity, brother, I highly, highly encourage you sit down with that movie. I always find it best if you watch it with someone, but alone it works too. It is a very charming, very simple story that is loosely based in reality, but only in that there was a time when movies were in their infancy before sound, as you well are aware. And this encapsulates the story between that era, and it does it with dancing and music. Gene Kelly is 100% on cue. Carrie Fisher's mom, Debbie Reynolds, is just fucking knocking everybody out with the energy, the dynamism, the
It was only 19 at the time.
Yeah, only 19 at the time. The same age her mother was when she was in Star Wars. And I tell you, when you watch the two of them like side by side, you got to tip the hat to the mom. I love Carrie Fisher. I mean, no disrespect, but her mom was a fucking powerhouse of talent, that went on to do dozens upon dozens of films that are excellent.
And did films while pregnant.
Absolutely right. I'm not as completely well versed in her. I have seen quite a bit of her work. Just to be honest, it's like I said, 3:30 in the fucking morning for me, and my brain's not firing all cylinders. I can't think of a few names. If you brought up her movies, I could describe the plot lines to you, who was in them. But she's done quite an entertaining movie I saw a couple of years back with Ricardo Montalban, watching Princess Leia's mom and Khan sing and dance out in the Catskills. It was fucking hilarious.
Well, I think I was watching.
That was that a Fantasy Island episode, or I'm thinking about something else.
I don't know. What are you talking about?
Fantasy Island.
Yeah, you said a Fantasy Island episode. What do you mean?
Were you talking about Carrie Fisher and Ricardo Montalban in the same?
No, I'm talking about her mother.
Oh,
Carrie Fisher's mother.
My mistake.
But I'm saying it's funny, like Princess Leia's mom dancing with Khan from Star Trek.
I see it. Nerd reference, nerd.
I did mention before I've got a love of film and stuff. Sorry, Edge, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I was watching something like Babes in Toyland, and I was kind of amazed how you had to have the total package. You had to you had to have looks, you had to be able to sing, you had to be able to dance, and now they don't even check off like maybe one of these things,
Well, it's not that there aren't talented people out there. Some good films are still being made today, but when a film like Babes in Toyland, or go even back to I don't know how far back you guys know anything about movie musicals. I didn't. It's weird. I grew up with film. My father, it was the one way I bonded with him. We did not get along when I was a kid growing up, but one thing we did was movies. And he took me to more movies than I can remember. Back in the days when you used to get double features and stuff, I remember going out to see Every Which Way But Loose and Every Which Way You Can back to back with my old man at the local theater. And he took me to see Das Boat, Heavy Metal, Star Trek The Motion Picture.
You get to see Heavy Metal on the big screen? That's something.
I got to see Heavy Metal on the big screen. Get this. Do you mind if I tell a short little personal story here, Black Phillip? No, of course you don't. You're such a good host.
Sure. Nobody's watching.
When Heavy Metal came out, I was approximately I'm gonna either between 10 or 11. I say that only because I don't remember what month. I was born in July, so it came out in like May or whatever. I'm not sure. I don't remember that well, but I do remember him taking me to it, and me getting him, and he was easy. He'd take me to Lord of the Rings. He loved a good animated movie. It was good, but there weren't a lot to choose from back in the day. And when Heavy Metal came out, I was really excited. Like next level. Because I'm 11 years old, and from what you remember, Heavy Metal, and you didn't get to see too much. I knew a couple of things about it, but not really too much. And when I got there, the theater was 3/4 full. It was a good crowd, like a Saturday night crowd or something. And we get our seats. My dad wants to go take a piss or get a popcorn or something, and he gets up and goes. I'm sitting there, and a couple of college kids are sitting next to me. And I'm 11, so they're like, men, right?
Yeah.
And the guy's like looking at me. He's waiting for my dad to go away, and I can sense like he wants to talk to me. And like I'm a little spooked out because why is this guy and his buddy? They keep looking at me. They keep looking at me. They go, "Hey, buddy, you mind if I ask a question?" And he goes, "What?" He says, "How'd you get in here?" Like, what do you mean, how'd I get in here? To the front door. He said, "I didn't sneak in." He says, "No, no, no. I was just wondering." He says, "Is that guy your dad?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Yeah, no, that's my dad. Your dad brought you to heavy metal." And his buddy starts laughing. His buddy turns to me and goes, "Dude, you've got the coolest old man ever." And I'm like, "Oh, thanks." I'm getting all chuffed. Oh, these older guys, I think my dad's all cool. Great. Because I had no idea what I was in for, like how much sex and violence and gore. I only had the most bare imagination. Like I knew there was chicks running around with boobs and stuff, but I didn't know how in depth. And I remember my dad quite enjoyed it. He thought it was hilarious. And a great Canadian film. I'm also Canadian, so when the rare great Canadian movie comes up, I do latch onto it. It was what's that pedigree there? Are you guys old enough to remember SCTV?
I'm not Canadian, but
Sorry?
SCTV?
You
SCTV.
die, she dies, everybody dies.
Everybody dies.
Isn't that like based in Canada? Like where
Sounded
Scotty's
reasonable
from?
to me. Yeah. The SCTV was a show that came out in the 70s, early 80s. But a lot of famous Canadians came out of there. John Candy, Eugene Levy, Catherine O'Hara, Martin Short, Rick Moranis, Dave Thomas, Joe Flaherty, Andrea Martin, people that when you look at their films and stuff together, they're a pretty impressive track record. Great show, parodied TV in the 70s and 80s. It was staple Canadian watching. At any rate, yeah, heavy metal, classic film. As I was saying before, I'm, very much into cinema and stuff, and I'm looking at making my own YouTube channel. And I've been
What? You don't have a YouTube channel?
Yeah. Well, everybody has a YouTube. We all have a YouTube channel. It's just, do we actually put out anything? And what I would like to do is make some static content, put it out there, and then back that up with the occasional live stream to talk about film or the work that I put out there.
Well, like I was telling Edge of Time, like, well, next month is finally my time to shine because my the original concept for my channel was supposed to be based on horror, period.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I ran into some personal issues, and so I had to stop for about 9 or 10 months. Like, okay, and then it turned into, what's known as the Insomniac Hour, which I do every Friday. But now, that next month, being October and horror month, I was like, oh, yeah, that was finally my time to show people what I actually wanted my channel to become. And so that's why I welcome like both you and Edge of Time. I mean, if y'all are familiar with horror, and you take, and I honestly want to be, taken seriously. I don't want it to turn into like some kind of joke. Like, yeah, okay, I like to have fun on my channel, but I mean, I take horror seriously. I mean, it is my specialty.
Going back to what I said, do you have any inspirations for that to make actual dedicated, like sit down, write a script, get an idea, think of, I'm going to talk about I like The Exorcist, so why don't I talk about The Exorcist? Or I like the Friday the 13th movies, but which ones more than not? And do your series, like, just as an example. Why do I like Italian Gaio films? Or sorry, Edge?
Yeah, he went muted. He muted himself. But like I said, I have my own content, what do you call it, subjects that I want to talk about. But if any of you, like you, Red Shirt, I know you're familiar. Yeah, and if you have ideas that you want me to cover, and hey, just let me know. And I love to do research. I don't like to do too much research because I like to, what's in my head. I work better improv. I work better just whatever comes on top of my head. That's how I do my shit.
Right. Well, but I mean, if you want
to come up with a concept for me to talk about, during October for Horror Month, you're more than gladly to give me some pointers and some ideas, and I'll definitely welcome them. And obviously, if it's one you come up with, you're more than welcome to be on the panel itself. I'm not like gonna shy.
What when you talk about your love of horror, what's your weakest part of horror? Do you know much about the Universal series? Are you familiar with the films of Michael Curtiz? He only did 3 horror movies, but they're all classics. Do you like?
No, I mean, like I'm getting the Universal recently just released the old school, the monster movies. They released the volume 1 last year, which I believe I told you on one of my when we were streaming together, right? I don't know if it was backstage or actually on one of my shows, but last year they released, the Wolfman, Frankenstein, Invisible Man, and then Dracula.
Right.
And then next month they came out with the Bride of Frankenstein, the Mummy, Creature from the Black Lagoon, and what's the 4th one? I can't think of what the 4th one is. But yeah, they're releasing a volume 2.
The Wolfman, the Invisible Man, Creature from the Black Lagoon. What do you mean the 4th one?
Well, no, like this next month, they're releasing a volume 2. It's Bride of Frankenstein, the Mummy.
Oh, sorry, I misunderstood.
Phantom of the Opera.
Phantom of the Opera. Okay, which one?
The original. I guess
the
one that came out.
Universal, because there was the one that predates the Universal. The silent one.
The Universal.
The silent one? Question mark.
It's from the Universal series. I guess from the Universal series. I mean, I don't know exactly.
I think that's one of the oldest ones, and it's silent, if I'm not mistaken, because they've remade the Phantom of the Opera like 24 times. But the original, the classic, the one with, I'm trying to think of his name. What is it? Lon Chaney Sr.?
Claude I thought it was Claude Rains.
No, Claude Rains was the inspector. He was in Casablanca. He was in The Invisible Man. He was the Invisible Man. He was in The Wolfman as the doctor that was Lon Chaney's friend, Lon Chaney Jr.'s friend.
Like gradually, I'm trying to familiarize myself with the older generation of horror. Because obviously, I grew up on 70s, 80s, and 90s horror.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was what it seems we all did. Given our ages.
That's what I'm more familiarized with. But like I said, when Universal released the original 4, like I told you, Dracula, Frankenstein, The Invisible Man, and then those are like it made me appreciate that style of genre. Yeah, they're not scary, but they're well made, and they're obviously classics. I mean, and they look absolutely gorgeous, even for being such nearly 80-year-old movies. And so I'm trying to familiarize, appreciate, all, decades of horror.
Right. I think it's great. I love your enthusiasm. I have no doubt if you apply your natural love of that with your charm and personality and stick to it. And I mean this, like, it's all nice to be friendly host and stuff like that. It's nice to be a knowledgeable host. But if you're not putting out the regular content, that's when people are going to get you. This is what the one big bit of advice that I give people, knowing that I don't have a YouTube channel. So who the fuck are you to say? But just use logic. If you're out there, if you say we're going to do a show every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday night, or, and that's what it is. You do that show. Doesn't matter if no one shows up. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. As a matter of fact, if no one shows up, make it the best show you ever did. Do that. Like this one, and then get people in the comments go, shit, I wish I missed that.
Look at this one I'm doing right now. I mean, I didn't expect it to push the 2-hour mark. I mean, I just opened it, and because I was bored on a Friday night, and luckily Edge of Time showed up in my chat, and
Friday night. Where do you live?
It was Friday morning. I'm sorry. Thursday night. I'm sorry. I've been through so much this week. I lose track of days, but yeah, it's Friday morning. I apologize. Friday night is when I usually stream. You know that, but Thursday night, I should say. I was bored on a Thursday night. and then I decided to just open up a stream, and luckily Edge of Time showed up. Not even 2 minutes into my stream, like, you want to come on? He's like, hell yeah.
All right.
And then I showed you, and then you showed up in the chat. I'm like, well, get your ass on my panel. It took you like 30 minutes, but yeah, you finally showed up.
And boy, am I not glad I did. After that,
I'm grateful for both of y'all, to be honest. I mean, hey, I wasn't expecting this, though, but hey, it's always great. I always prefer the more spontaneous type of streams. You know, like if you plan something, you gotta plan ahead. Well, I never plan my stream anyway, but next month, like I said, I definitely have subject matters, and so I'm taking it a lot more serious.
That's important. Why don't you give us a taste of some of your subject matter? Give me your top 3. Are you doing a different theme every week?
Yes.
Are these just one shows, one time only things? Is this going to be a continuing series?
Even though I do stream on Fridays only, I kind of want to do maybe more than one. Like I'm open, like I said, to subjects, whatever you want me to cover, because horror being my specialty, I'll cover whatever. But as far I have 4 subjects that I know I definitely want to cover. Like the first week, I want to cover horror movie icons.
Yeah.
And then the second week, I think I'm going to do directors, horror movie directors. The third week, I want to do underrated horror movies.
Okay.
And then the fourth week, no, I was debating the fourth. I wanted to do favorite horror movies, but I mean,
I do think that's the natural progression. But what's your alternate?
I want to do movies that I consider horror.
That you consider horror?
Like Jaws.
Okay, but yeah, most people do consider it a horror movie. Some people consider it a monster movie, which I don't think is unfair.
But yeah, I've heard people say that Godzilla is like a horror movie. I'm like, no, I don't think Godzilla's horror.
Oh, well, you're not watching the right Godzillas then. Honestly. Godzilla, remember, Godzilla is an icon unto its own. Godzilla is unlike other properties. Godzilla has had more transformations than Star Trek. When you watch the original 1950
like a Japanese version,
or 57 version.
Right?
Well, like a Japanese, holy fuck, I want to slap you. What? That's insane. Like Japanese are the only people to make Godzilla movies. Yes, the Americans have made a couple, and they weren't terrible, but the heart and soul of Godzilla really, well, no, it's not fair for me to tell you the heart and soul of Godzilla. What, to me, the heart and soul of Godzilla.
I mean, I can take constructive criticism. Don't get me wrong.
That's not. I don't want to make up your mind for you. What I do want to try to do, I am nobody's teacher in cinema. I do happen to know quite a bit. I'm well versed in directors, going way back to the dawn of cinema, writers, artists, actors, actresses. But I don't try to force my opinions on people. But I hope I can get people interested in them enough at some point they'd be willing to give it a try. Like one of the channels I want to do, and I'm working on a name for this one. I have 3 or 4 ideas I want to put under one channel. And if you don't mind me spinning a couple ideas past you guys, it's just to see what you think. I asked Dialect 451 and Potato Raven last night. We were up late chatting. And would you be interested in watching these ideas I have? One is to do a retrospective. It's going to be a YouTube movie review show that only reviews movies found on YouTube. Or more specifically, movies you can find on YouTube.
I get those all the time. Like I should get like movies, like the free movies you can watch on YouTube. I get them all the time.
There are literally dozens upon dozens, and I mean dozens upon dozens. So that stretches into the near hundreds of independent movie channels that are broadcasting movies that are A, in public domain, B, they have a special license for, C, they're colorized versions or not. Right. But the point I'm making is one of the twists to my show, this show, is a lot of my stuff is I respect your time. I try to keep it short and sweet. These are static things. These aren't going to be live chats. These are going to be little mini documentaries or movies. They're opinions. Like you've seen a review show. You watch Siskel and fucking Ebert, right? The difference is it's this particular one is aimed just for the movies you can watch for free on YouTube. I want to save you money and I want to save you time. So I'm not going to report on movies that aren't any good. I'm only going to steer you towards movies I recommend so you don't waste your time, whether they're kids' movies, whether they're older Western, but they got literally thousands upon thousands of movies. And I've done a lot of research. If you go to my channel and look up my Kung Fu file alone, has over 1,200 separate movies that I've culled from sites like Black Belt Cinema, the Wu-Tang Clan, Cinecurry Hollywood, dozens of martial arts sites I've been watching for the last couple of years. And I've picked the cream of the crop. In the separate file, Sweet Sweet Gung Fu, there's 235 roughly films that I can tell you the plots to or describe because I've seen them. And I'm talking classics, and some I haven't seen more than once, I admit. But if they're in that file, I've seen it, and I say it passes. Whether it's a weapons kung fu movie, like a wuxia sword movie, or a multiple weapons movie, whether it's straight up fist on fist, I take you down that path. There are hundreds of the spaghetti westerns. On my movies channel, between film noir, do you guys know about film noir? Do you like film noir?
Sure.
Why not?
For sure. No, that's an honest to God sure. I mean, yeah, they do like.
I'm not so crazy about it because there's no fantasy element to it. You're talking about
yes, that's true with film. With film noir, there's rarely
these slow build films, kind of films, so you get bored easily unless you follow along.
Right. Okay.
Well, it's just, not for everyone. Is it sounds like it's an endless well for you. I mean, and that's really what you're going to need, something you could bring enthusiasm to every week or however often you broadcast. That sounds good because people are always looking for more content. They just don't know where to get it, and you'll be telling them where to get it. So,
well,
bravo.
The beauty is right here on YouTube.
Exactly.
That's the twist. Like, I do want to do a movie review show that just reviews any movie I want to see. Of course I do. But I don't see anybody else doing a movie show specifically based. And I will say one thing. I will promote this, though I'm not asking YouTube for a nickel. But I have the premium package. And I didn't have it for a couple of years. And I never would watch movies on YouTube. Never, ever. Why? You know, it's commercials every 5 minutes. Fuck that. And then one day I got a wild hair up my ass. And I just, fuck it. They're offering it for like $11 a month. Sure. So I took it. I fell in love with it. It just became name any other system, and I say it beats it for diversity, for being able to get back a lot of old stuff. Now, it's not quite as good as, say, an HBO Max combined with a Turner Classic Movie account, which would give you, 10,000 movies from, 1922 to 2022. But it does give you an incredible resource to excellent old spaghetti Western movies. Like, for the guys that think, Sergio Leone, that's it. No, there's so many. They made hundreds of these, and some of them are fucking brilliant. The original Django series is great. Played by multiple actors over the years. You guys like what's his name? Bud Spencer and it's late, boys. I'm sorry. My brain's not
the
firing
Trinity
on
Brothers.
Yes, thank you, Edge. The Trinity Brothers, Bud Spencer and.
It sounds like you know how to watch YouTube TV. I don't think most people do. So
watch it for the live shit. That's the free shit.
Yeah. What were you saying, Edge?
Oh, I mean, when I had the trial, I wasn't sure what to do with it, because, I just try and schedule stuff that I hadn't seen, and it may or may not get saved, know. I didn't really have an agenda because I was like, I haven't seen Wolverine. And so I'd go look for it and it'd be like not this month, but next month. And I'm like, well, I don't think I'll have the free trial next month.
Okay, well, we're talking about something slightly different, brother. I've got the premium account. Now, the premium account, I do believe, and there's some things I still haven't explored. And I've had this account for over a year. Like there's a whole music aspect to it that a friend of mine was like, you don't use the music. That's why I'm always on there, the music. And no, I really haven't even gotten there yet. I've just been going through the movies, but I do like my music. I'm more of a audio cinephile than I am an audiophile. But he swears by the music aspect. For myself, the beauty for this is that any film or anything that you find on YouTube that isn't a buy or for rent movie, these are movies that independent channels put out that they make their money on because they pepper them with commercials. Now, when you try to watch an old Gregory Peck Western, and it's fucking a commercial every 3 minutes, you're not going to sit through it. You won't have the patience to let the story and nobody could blame you.
But
now, they're not quite that bad.
Commercial free.
Precisely. No commercials of any kind. That's the beauty. Nothing. Now, okay, slight exception. When you're watching, say, just as an example, I was watching a critic review show the other day, and these irk me sometimes, but I accept it because they help the creators. If the creator puts a commercial in manually, physically, like let's say he's a review show. I don't know if you watch Chris Stuckman or he'll say, and now a moment for Squarespace and he pitches you like software to build your own laptop.
Oh yeah, you're saying like he has a promotion inserted within his video.
Precisely. And he's narrated it or whatever. It's not a commercial. It's something he participated in the creation of.
Promotional material. Yeah.
Precisely. That you can't get around. But apart from that, anything else, if it comes up, if you look at that little red bar that comes down, I don't have a computer right now. And I'm hoping I'm going to get one in the next couple of months. Just truthfully, I've had some medical issues and money's very tight. But on my tablet, when I look at it, I got a little red bar and that tells me how far along the movie is. When like we all have, I'm sure. But when you can see the commercials where they place them beforehand. That's what the little broken spots along that line are when you try to watch a movie.
Right.
When I got the premium, all those spots disappeared. There's nothing. There's never a break. There's never an interruption. It plays in its best possible quality from beginning to end, no interruptions, and it's fucking beautiful. If you want, now the downside is, I'm not talking about brand new movies. I'm talking mostly about older films, classic films. I was talking with those young guys, Dialect and Potato Raven, and I said, "Hey, what's your favorite old film? Give me a take, like going back. What thinking, the oldest movie and that you really enjoyed. Maybe you saw it with your granddad or stuff, and in the TV." And he said, "Oh no, I remember." He says, "Definitely, if you want to go way back, like really old film, I guess Back to the Future, the original." And the other guy's like, "Oh yeah, Back to the Future, yeah, there's a classic." I'm like, "Yeah, okay."
Old film.
I'm talking to the wrong kids here. This was, thank you. But yeah, if you really do love cinema, there is thousands of hours of dirt cheap entertainment at your fingertips, just waiting for somebody to point you in the right direction. And on that show, if I review the movie, I'm going to give you the link to that guy's channel, so you can go straight there and watch it yourself. And maybe I'll do 3 short reviews in 1 half-hour show sort of thing, and say, this week I got a film noir, this week I got a war movie, this week I got a romance or something for the girls, or like a musical or something. Try to keep it, shake it up a little, give some variety. But every movie I put on there, I swear it is good, and I will argue with it or for it to anyone. You may not like all my choices. Are you going to
do watch parties?
That's a good question too, but unfortunately with the watch parties, now to make it on the YouTube channel,
it's hard to do watch parties on YouTube.
It is, but here's the kick in the ass. The watch parties would be us watching YouTube.
Right.
You'd have to be on YouTube, and then I'd have to pirate somebody else's channel on the YouTube. I don't know if that's allowed. Like just because, say, Cinecurry Hollywood is playing the Five Deadly Venoms, does that mean I can go to Cinecurry Hollywood and take a screenshot or a rolling screenshot of that and just pipe that on my screen? I don't think I can. Much of the frustration I have with watch party videos on YouTube is they can't show shit. You guys know Bird of Prey.
Yeah.
And his watch parties, I do think he does his arguably the best. He's got that little screen and he brings up static images that don't move, they don't talk, you don't hear anything. But if you know the movie, you know exactly where they are and what's going on. So when they comment, you're kind of in pace. Now that doesn't work if you've never seen the movie.
Right.
So a consideration I had was only doing watch parties. Well, I was going to say an idea to counter that would only be do watch parties of famous movies. Movies we've all probably seen by now. We've all seen RoboCop. We've all seen Escape from New York. We've all seen Star Wars. The only benefit to that is, like I say, when you put up those static images, which you're allowed to do, everybody watching knows. So when you go, oh, here it comes. Commando takes Schwarzenegger's Commando takes the guy's head off with a buzzsaw with 20 yards in that fucking shed, and he throws that pitchfork to the guy. He goes, "Stick around," and everybody goes, "Stick around!" Ha ha! That's fun. That's fun to watch because you can all kind of bond to that. And with the older films, doing that, you can. Chances are sometimes people have them at home, so they can stick it on their TV and watch along roughly at the same time. But when it gets tough, like Jedi Bill's watch parties, is when he puts out a movie that few people have seen, and you got to go to Cosme. And I don't know about you guys, Cosme works apparently great for the computers, but it sucks ass for devices. You could fry eggs on your phone if you try to watch a movie on Cosme on your phone. Same with your tablet. So I feel bad because I like the guy and I'd support him more. But
you would think that you could totally organize a watch party on YouTube because it's YouTube content.
Yes, I agree. And there's the frustration. Bill got caught last year. He did a Todd Browning's Freaks watch party. That's in the public domain.
Right.
It's on 10 different YouTube channels in the public domain.
Right.
He tried to do a live watch party. They shut him down.
Somebody probably complained. All it takes is one complaint. You get shut down like that. That's all it takes. You get that one hater. Oh, fuck this guy. Complain about him. Boom. Shut down like that.
Yeah, but
maybe. But when you find out, isn't there like a
hate watching Jedi Bill just to shut him down? Come on.
You know what? I wouldn't put it past.
We know somebody like that. Come on. Both of us. Come on.
Come on.
Well,
he's turning into a hate channel. Period. Come on.
Well, he's a frustrated cat, and I understand. But you know what? He's got to go his own path. We all do.
I know, right?
We all do.
But gentlemen, talk amongst
yourselves. What about you, Edge of Time? What do you like to do? Do you put out stuff? I only ever see you in the chats. We never really talk.
Yeah, no, I just chat. I've done some YouTube stuff a long time ago. I didn't really get what I wanted out of it, so it's I just do it because Phil City was bored, so I was bored, so I thought that was a good time to connect. But no, I don't have anything to sell you. Nothing to show for.
No agenda.
But I think you do well and worry about the watch party stuff later. Start.
Yeah, the watch parties
start with your core idea, which is, because that's kind of what. Let's see. You ever watch Clownfish TV? They kind of collate news, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're really just reading you a news report.
Yeah.
Whereas you're providing them with more content, which, and if they have premium, it's going to be commercial free. So
Exactly. I don't know what they charge you for it. I don't know where you live. I'm in Canada, up in Toronto.
I think
So-
it's $12.
Yeah, for me it's like $13.99. They raised it like a year ago, but fuck it, it's worth it. It's
Yeah.
worth every penny. It really is if you like movies and old TV shows too. There's a wealth of those. I didn't even touch on that, but you get it all commercial free, and that I never realized how frustrating that was on YouTube when I try to, because I got into it through Kung Fu movies. My interest in YouTube movies. I loved old Kung Fu movies, and they're just hard to find. Ones that aren't totally shit quality, at least.
Right.
Like you can go to flea markets and stuff and find a bin that's got 25 in, but when you take them home, half of them don't play or they just suck ass. They've been reprinted and reprinted and reprinted.
Yeah.
A lot of these channels have got permission and access for some of the best Kung Fu movies that played between 1967 and say 1985. There was that was the Hong Kong's rise and kind of fall off period. That's when they really started to catch on around the world.
In the entrepreneur sense, you've identified the problem, lack of content, and you're offering a solution. So it's a good formula for success. So
I hope.
Hopefully Santa brings you a quality video capable, editable thing.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, I'm not a uber perfectionist or anything, but I do have an idea of what I want to present, and I need more than my phone to do it. I even downloaded a couple of different editing apps and shit like that.
Yeah.
I downloaded Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia. It was going to be the first movie I reviewed before I got the YouTube idea. And like that on the phone's, 3 gigs. And I downloaded the editing apps and I started, learning how to, and I realized this is insane.
Yeah.
This is trying to run a YouTube show off your phone is, just fucking the height of madness. Unless all you want to do is just chat to people. But if you want to have any content,
and you gotta have a good setup, decent setup at least.
I have the other problem, which is I kind of am a perfectionist. I'll spend all week on 5 minutes of footage, and it just you can't do that. You can't do that on YouTube either. You got to make with the content.
I learned young, growing up. I had a very physical life. Doing, I worked grew up in my old man's auto body shop. I did carpentry, painting, home building, renovation, staircase, hardwood floors, stuff like that. And I know perfection is something that's in our hearts when your love is in the job and stuff, but perfect is the enemy of done. And sometimes you got to be able to say, you know what, I got to let it go. Got to let it go. And you're never going to get every last little crease out of that fucking 100-year-old floor, or you're never going to get every minor perfection. But sometimes the imperfections is what sets it out and makes it you. So sometimes it's not a bad thing. And I hear what you're saying. You want to sit down, you want to edit because you got it in your mind exactly how it wants to be. But I'm old enough and I don't got a lot of time to fuck around.
Yeah, that's why live streaming is the big thing right now, because you live stream, you don't worry about editing or anything. So,
well, it's the laziest way to go about it, frankly. If that's how you want to make your every successful channel I've seen, none of them only do live streaming, with the exception of political channels. Like Timcast in real life or whatever. You ever see that guy? You know who I'm talking about?
No.
Timcast IRL. Put him in one day and just watch this kid who's about 30 years old.
He's a lefty.
Right. Yeah. I'm not.
I've never heard of
sorry.
that.
Don't think I'm going on about politics here. I'm not. What I'm going for is that we're in a very specific part of YouTube here. We're in a very niche part. If you want popularity and success, go parrot a lefty news channel like that. This guy gets regularly 30,000 people in his chat all donating all the time. 30,000 people
Stripper
on
money.
average.
Stripper money.
Gee.
He makes Nerdrotic look like an absolute punk. That's a slow day. The guy's got like
Nerdrotic, to be honest.
Sure, but in this,
obnoxious.
if you're in this part of YouTube, you can't get around that sort of thing. If you want to talk about, you want to have a channel that's dedicated to science fiction stuff, all that shit comes up. The whole fandom menace bullshit and stuff. And between you and me, I don't have 2 seconds for it anymore. I'm so over the hate. I want to focus on positivity. Right. I want to have a Star Trek channel where I talk about how much I like Star Trek, not about how much I fucking hate Star Trek. You know?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Right? Everybody likes to hate on it now because that's what gets you the views.
Well, yeah, hate for clicks, and I find it despicable. And I think there's, I think it's become the biggest problem in fandom, frankly. Right. Is all the hate, all the vitriol, instead of constructive criticism for somebody's product. I see a guy who's a half decent reviewer, like Critical Drinker, put in, you know, a review last summer for the movie Midsummer. And I'm watching this and I'm keep waiting for him to say, you know, okay, well, I was at the theater and my missus was with me and so I lost a bet or whatever. So I had to go see Midsummer. So this is why I kept expecting a reason. Why would you go see a movie about some chicks dancing around a fucking maypole if you had no interest in it, and then come and shit on it for an hour?
Right.
Why? What was your, when I see the guys, when the He-Man and the Masters of the Universe came out, and guys are losing, 55-year-old men are losing their shit because He-Man isn't, He-Man said yes ma'am to like some chick in the cast or something, and then, you know, like, okay, I do understand that apparently they killed He-Man off early. But I would maintain that this isn't like, you know, they aren't making these things one at a time. This is a series. Is it not possible they'll bring them back? Like just a little bit down the road?
Come on.
I don't know. This was that big He-Man fucking, but watching all these grown men go batshit fucking crazy. How dare, and then freely admit, well, I was too old when the property came out to really watch it, but you know, I got to respect the fans. Oh, fuck you. Fuck you. You're piling on dog shit because Kevin Smith is popular to hate on right now. He's a little crybaby and you know, he's a fucking punk. His views don't jive with mine exactly. So I don't know. To me, it's just like a lot of forced hate. A lot of guys finding shit to hate. You know, if you really hate, like it's just, that's not how I was brought up. You really hate something to spend time thinking about it. You don't. You get it out of your mind and you concentrate on what you like. Try looking at the positive things once in a while. I don't know, man. I'm going on for a rant now, and I don't mean to. It's not my show. How do you guys feel about
that's fine. There's a lot of hate. There's a lot of hate content out there, and just, you know, not even for no reason. I think it's obviously just for clicks and just to.
Oh, precisely.
You know, especially like on stuff like, you know, She-Hulk and like recently Andor's getting shit reviews. People are shitting all over Andor already too. So from what I hear, and so I think that people just get off on drama nowadays because that's what gets you the clicks. I mean, you look at. There's a couple of streams that I've been on that they don't know, hey, shit happened, you know, somebody goes on a rant or somebody, all the little drama that, you know, we've been dealing, I've been dealing with, you know, and those are the ones that get the most views. I'm like, that's not what the hell I want. I'm not going to go on a channel to deal with bullshit drama, man. I mean, that's not what I want. That's not what I want for my channel. I mean, as small as it is, I mean, I'm just all about, you know, the Insomniac hours. It's just about hanging and chilling with friends. But like I said, next month, you know, during October, you know, I want it to be more of a somewhat productive and more put together type of stream. Whether it's live, it's going to be live, but it's going to actually have a topic to talk about. So I don't want to bring in no trolls or like when I have people on my panel that actually know what they're talking about, you know, and they can, you know, side with me when it comes to my, you know, the specialty of horror, which is what my focus is going to be on next month.
Well, I hate to tell you, but if you really do want it to be a success and treat it seriously and sit down, write out what you want to talk about, write out the movies you want to talk about.
I've already been planning them. I'm taking notes and I'm writing down exactly, like I said, I gave you the
Let me finish.
Oh, I'm sorry.
If you write down, say you have a 4-week plan.
Mm-hmm.
How many movies per week did you want to talk about? One was a director's series. One was your favorite series. One was an ancient, the origins of film horror, the Universal series.
Right. And
Sorry, was it just the Universal series or like early horror and the Universal?
It was just the horror icons. It was horror icons. There's nothing
horror
about
icons.
the Universal series or nothing.
Maybe I'm confused, and you're saying you were buying the Universal series or something. I confused that.
No, I did buy them. I mean, I'm getting volume 2 next month. So, so if that becomes a topic, say.
My point is, if you say for the week you want to do horror icons,
right?
Well, okay, this works too. What you do? How many shows do you want to have that week? Is it 1? Is it 2, 3? How many do you want to devote to horror icons?
1. I mean, I usually post just once, once a week. That's what I usually
because
post.
I don't. If that's how you post once a week, fine. I didn't know that. So once a week. Now, if you really want a good show, were I you, I would write out a paragraph or 2 about how I want the show to go. What icons I want to talk about. If you guys can think of any other icons that are relevant or that I haven't thought of, I'd love to hear back from you before we go to air. So we're all on the same page, right? That nobody starts talking about, say, Ultraman. Sorry. But yeah, like, well, you're talking icons. No, we're talking horror icons, not Japanese fantasy cinema icons. Stick on topic. So if you sat down and said, I like to talk about everything from King Kong to Slime to Chud and just go through the list, throwing out ideas.
Like I said, for sure. I mean, I'll definitely send the people that went on my panel that week. I'll send them a list. Like these are the
right.
This is the list.
Now,
of
if they're movies,
I show.
Sorry, I just want to make sure you understand. Though I started with the icons because that was the last word you said. But if you're going to do the movies,
that's the first topic I'll be discussing in the first.
Right. The advantage to icons is you don't have to do a lot of sit down research. I don't have to refresh myself to think of what does Godzilla look like, right?
Right.
Now that's on you. If you want to talk about it, people are going to want to see images. So you're going to have on that list pictures of all the images that you wrote down.
Right. I can show them. I could share my screen. I could godly use the internet to show, like, this is
sure thing. But I'm sure you'd agree. Instead of sitting there and go, okay, hang on, let me type in, what was his name? Was it Lon Chaney Jr.? Yeah, Lon Chaney Sr. did. No. If you went beforehand, got that list and got 5 to 10 pictures of everybody from the icons and shit down, and then you've got that on your file, and you say, okay, now we're starting alphabetical order just to make things easy. So we're going, what is the first horror movie with a horror icon with an A? That would be, that's interesting too. If you did them, okay, whatever.
No,
just say Freddy Krueger. Freddy Krueger is today's horror icon, and not today's horror icon. What am I saying?
While it's still going to be live, I'm still going to make it seem, like I'm going to prepare myself for it. That's a good idea. I didn't even think about that to already have, stills made up. I can download, find a picture I enjoy, and I'll post it up it up on my share screen. Like, okay, this is my horror icon, and then the next horror icon, it's a picture of, say, Jason, and then the next one it's
Precisely.
Michael Myers, and then
Yeah.
and then so people know exactly what I'm discussing without interrupting. You're like, okay, this is what's being discussed at the moment. And then I got people trolling in a chat like, what the fuck's the topic?
Right.
Like, well, it's on the damn screen. We're talking about Freddy Krueger, and then at this time, and then the next time we're talking about Michael Myers, and then the next time we're talking about Leatherface.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I mean, I want it to be like an actual, kind of like how John Campia does his shows. So
Okay. Well, yeah, and that takes a little forethought and planning. So not a bad idea. If you sit down and you write the list and say, this is it, you send it out to people with the one request. Everybody, if you haven't heard of somebody there, just look them up, please, before we go in. Or if I've missed somebody that you think would be a big mistake, please tell me. So one guy might say, hey, you never included Jaws. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, you're right. I should have. He's an icon. Yeah, Jaws. Jaws is on the list now. You see what I'm saying?
Bruce.
Campbell?
No, that was a nickname that Spielberg called.
For the shark?
The shark. Yeah.
Right. But Bruce Campbell, there's another icon.
Well, for sure. Well, I'm going more fictional.
Yeah, the icon's great, but
that's actually not a bad idea, though. Horror actor. That's actually not a bad subject either.
Oh yeah.
To be honest.
You could do a whole thing on just that.
I didn't even think about that, to be honest. That's actually might be a good idea too for another show. Shit. Well, thank you for that one.
Well, you said directors. I was expecting you to say actors and actresses. You said the great directors, so naturally I assumed actors and actresses on the list. But
I could probably make it combining in one big show, like not just directors. I could do actors and actresses per se too.
You could, but you know horror quite well. Now, honestly, do you think you could talk for 2 hours if you picked your 20 favorite horror films and talked about all the directors that filmed those? That's a lot of talking. How many George Romero films are on there? How many Dario Argento films are on there? How many William Friedkin films are on there? I bet you're going to find out not that many. So you're going to start branching out and think, well, Hellraiser, I love that. Or I really, we haven't talked about the Evil Dead series. What about, what's his name? Spider-Man, Sam Raimi.
Sam Raimi, yeah.
Like you've got a lot to talk about with just directors. If you really want to get serious about, who they are, what films they did. But that is definitely going to be one you've got to sit down. You got to pick out your 10. Don't go 20, go 10. 10 favorite horror
maybe a couple
films.
of honorable mentions, just to keep it simple, keep it,
And then get screenshots, not only of the director themselves, but also maybe put up a little writing or something. The screenshot comes on. Here's the Evil Dead. Here's Evil Dead 2. Here's Evil Dead 3. Here's when he did Army of Darkness. Or here's what was the Cabin in the Woods. Here's whatever. His whole filmography comes up. Those little bit of eye candy information that keeps people reading, it makes you look so professional. Makes you look like you cared. So even though you're doing it live, you had your shit ready to go, right? Any guy I bring up, hey, can we talk about Jason Voorhees? Yep, there he is. Hang on, Jason Voorhees. Click, boom. Here, I got these 3 pictures. This is from this one. This is from this movie. This is from where he goes to outer space or whatever,
maybe somebody will be watching the stream and be like, oh shit, look, you got this channel. He's talking about horror movies, but it's actually like a full production. He might be live, but he's got his shit together. And somebody shares my damn stream, but then I gain even more subscribers. And that's what.
Isn't that what Mr. Brown Alliance does?
Pretty much. Anybody's supposed to. That's pretty much what anybody's supposed to do.
Well, you should check out Mr. Brown. He does 2 or 3 shows a week where they review shows, review movies.
Is that any good?
Yeah, I mean, he's not. He has. It depends on the day, but he has 3 or 4 guests, and sometimes it's something positive, like they'll watch The Spy Who Loved Me, or sometimes it's something negative, like they'll bash She-Hulk. So, for me, it depends on what the subject is, whether I watch it or not, because I just don't care about Star Wars at this point. I'm like, I don't need to hear you bash it, even if you're funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just becomes hate watching at this point. So.
I'll see if I can put a link in the chat. Oh,
I know who Mr. Brown's
I don't
Alliance
know
is. So.
Never mind. Okay.
I know who he is.
Make it a time a mod. BP.
No, I'll do it. I got you. Okay, 1 second. You gotta do it from the chat. So that's what I learned. You gotta do it. Most of the shit you do live, you gotta do from the chat. Okay, you're now modded to time, so you can share whatever you need to share.
Okay.
Thank you. Porn.
Shut up. Sure, get me a strike.
Gay porn.
Gay porn.
It's okay if it's gay.
Don't give anybody ideas to hate watch me.
You give them enough ideas to hate watch you. I'll tell you that.
Somebody always gets off on that shit. We won't name him. So.
Well, I don't know, buddy. I think you know what, shit's gonna settle down and people will start forgiving each other in a little while.
Man, we were on another friend's channel. Ashley Lynn's last night, honestly, and he was on there.
Yeah, he left. We were on Dialects together, and as soon as Ashley Lynn came on, he said, "Oh, okay, Ashley Lynn's broke. I'll see you guys." That was it. Like I never heard a fucking quicker simp run to a chick's channel in my life. We were laughing for like 5 minutes straight.
Well, no, the funny thing is he was talking crap in the chat, and then nobody's reading it. So then he tried to start it on the panel, and then like complete silence, like nobody even reacted.
Right.
And I was like, what does that tell you, dude? I was like, nobody's on your shtick anymore.
Well, that's unfortunate because he's not a bad guy. He has, frankly, I think we can all agree we're all a little crazy here on YouTube, so there's nothing too dramatic to say that.
I'm not saying I'm perfect either. So
no, I doubt any of us are. The point I'm making is I think you do got to be a little crazy to be here, and you do have to have a sense of they want attention. He's a sweetheart guy, but he's a raging narcissist, and he can't help himself.
Right.
100%. Like it always comes back to him. It's always about the injustice done to him, and how you can't. Totally. But when he's high blood sugar, when he's on his meds or whatever, when he's being the sweetheart I know he is, he's a great guy to hang out and shoot the shit with and have laughs with.
Right. I don't doubt that. I'm not denying that.
A big part of the problem honestly came from the people hanging out with him because they take his shit and they'd simp for him all the time.
Mm-hmm. No, you're not wrong.
It's depressing then when I see you, for example, and I'm not saying this to be hateful. I'm not. I'm saying this actually because I like you.
Go ahead, man.
But like when you throw little under your breath cheap shots or shit like the other night I heard you tell, go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself, Captain. And you're mumbling this shit under your breath. Yeah, I know you had a couple.
Man, I knew I had a few that night. Yeah, I know. That was me. That was my fault.
But Scotty's giving him shot after shot, and he's not responding. He's not responding because he knows you guys are pissed, and he likes you guys. And this is his way of trying to let you guys take some shots at him on your channel. Right. But he doesn't really appreciate just how egregious and obnoxious he has been to a lot of people out there. So a lot of people are holding grudges for shit he doesn't know, but therein lies the problem. people instead of
I'm
telling
one of
him
them.
about it.
I'm
Sorry.
one of them that's holding
Yeah.
a grudge and he doesn't know because
You're right.
Mhm.
You're
I
right.
actually listened to his show and he's like, "Oh, Edge of Time hates me, so I'm going to block him." Now I'm
Mhm.
blocked. And I'm like,
Mhm.
I'm thinking in my mind, I think you just want my attention, dude. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
100%. No, it's all about attention. Don't mistake that. It's a narcissistic trait. It's the constant victimizing of himself. His stream the other night, I'm watching The Raven, a gorgeous little Vincent Price, Boris Karloff movie here on YouTube that just came out for free. Great 50s. They all play wizards. Him and not Lon Chaney, sorry, Boris Karloff, Vincent Price, and the legendary Peter Lorre. You guys know Casablanca or Maltese Falcon? Peter
Yes,
Lorre.
sir.
Yeah, of course.
Yes, sir.
And they're all three wizards and shit. Anyway, his channel thing comes up because I got him on the alarm thing. And I got you on the alarm thing, Philip. That's how I know you were broadcasting tonight. They're
Right.
Tampa. You got to keep remember. That's something I got to tell you, boys. Keep it. Well, not you so much, Edge, because you're not broadcasting. I hope you come back though. You sound like an interesting cat. I'm sure you got some pretty good views on movies and music and stuff like that.
I'm okay.
But
Man, you started out as a troll. Come on, let's be honest. Still a
But-
good guy there. I love you, Edge of Time.
yeah. Oh, we all troll a little, but if you troll with love, if you don't troll with hate, if it's
Oh,
just,
right,
you know,
right,
tongue
right.
in cheek
I
and, you know, we're having fun.
started out as the ultimate troll like 5 years ago. So come on.
Yeah. But listen, I'm always pitching for Spockney because he is good people in his heart. He is. He doesn't mean to take over conversations. He doesn't mean to be belligerent or dismissive or petty or shitty. This is a chemical thing to do with blood sugar. It's also, he does have some psychological problems like us all do. And one is he's slightly disposed to narcissism. And narcissists need to be narcissistics need to be fed. They need attention. It's everything to them. I want to end his stream telling you I'm in the middle of watching this movie, having a great time, and it says stream 452 on panel and muted. Hilarious. So okay, I pause this. I go over to his thing. I type it. Hey, what's up? What's going on? Oh, on the Spidey channel. And the fuckers, oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm conflagrating two different stories. He tried to get an invite to Spidey's channel, and Spidey didn't want him on because he had Rob Thunderheart and somebody else I don't remember. I wasn't really there for the show. I stopped in for a couple of minutes to say hi, but so he got really upset that
he's like, "You're no friend of mine."
Because you didn't get an invite, right?
He goes fucking bad shit, nuts, crazy. And when I came back, and I know he's like hot, and so I'm trying to handle him politely because again he's my friend, but also I'm not his fucking simp. I'm as old as he is. I find him, you know, an amusing, fun guy who, you know, I want to be friends with, but I'm not his fucking bitch. You know, he's fucking nuts. You try talking to me like that, it's bye-bye pork pie. And you want to push it, I'll fucking follow you around YouTube and make your life miserable just because I'm shitty and bored and in cancer treatment and I've got time to fucking kill. But that is, sorry, I didn't mean to go off on a rant. I'm just saying, we don't generally fuck with each other. But that day, when I said, let me go over to Spidey's, I said something like, hang on a second, brother. You know, it's Spidey you're talking about. The guy loves you. He's not trying to hurt your feelings. Let me go over and check. He's like, oh, come on, brother. Oh, come on. Oh, is it? Oh, come on, brother. Stick that. Oh, come on up your fucking ass. Red shirt. If that's how you fucking. Okay. I got to get away with it.
And he DMs you and calls you every name of the book, too. So.
Oh, no, I don't let him DM me. Although, well, at any rate, so I go over there, read the chat. He said, hey, throw me a link. He said, hey, buddy, don't take it the wrong way. I'm having a really good conversation with the boys here. I'm just hoping to keep it going. Do you mind if it's next time? You know, no offense. Sorry. As polite as you possibly could when you're caught cold with somebody demanding to come on your thing. Well, at any rate, I had to go back to his channel right in the middle of him bad-mouthing me, saying, oh, he's over there and I'm typing out, you know, yes, I went to his channel. I looked, I saw what was said and you were right. I hit send. That shut him up until I could write the next message. That, you know, but you failed to explain to me is your agreement with Spider-Man that you have rights to show up on his channel whenever you want? Was that tacit or was that said? Did you guys have something written? I don't understand. What rule did he break, which stopped him in his tracks? I said, well, no, it's not like that, Red Shirt. He said, like, it's just, I wanted to be part of the conversation. I understand. But you said, like, you're over here bad-mouthing the guy because he won't have you on. Jill got on and talked him down, too. But it's an example. Like, he keeps losing his shit. And what does he do? 2 days later, he blocks Jill.
And talks about her and open the stream. Yeah, I saw that. Like,
why would you block the Holly Golightly of the fucking fandom, of our part of the fandom? She's everybody's sweetheart. Jill is like a universal truth. Everybody likes Jill. If you start a beef with Jill and you're a fucking 55-year-old man, people are going to come up with one quick conclusion, and that is you got the hots for Jill. You freak. You picked the wrong person. Back the fuck off.
No. Yeah, you're talking about somebody that's like super respected around the entire YouTube community. She's on some big channels. She mods for some pretty big channels, bigger than all of us put together.
Oh God, yeah.
She mods for Doomcock of all people. Hello.
Yeah, and she's a sweetheart to boot. I do love her. She drinks too deeply of the Doomcock Kool-Aid for me, but I do think she's great. I really do like Jill. I got time for Jill all day long. Everybody does.
Of course.
So if you're going to throw a petulant fit because of some stupid reason, then yeah, people are going to think there's something going on behind the scenes. She doesn't want any part of that. She's a happily married woman.
I DM'd her the same day. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Why did Cap call you out like that? And I find it hilarious. I think it's hilarious. I've never been blocked before, so I find it hysterical. And I'm like, that sounds like Jill.
She doesn't, though. That's Jill's defense mechanism coming out and trying to make light of it and show she's not hurt and she can roll with the punches. And good on her.
She is a Texan like me.
But she shouldn't have to go through that. I was there the night he made Raquel SSG cry on her own show. The fuck? You're making a kid cry? What the fuck is wrong with you? Because he wasn't getting attention.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know I've shit on him for a while, but that's only to show you, legitimately, I do understand everybody's grievances with the guy.
Nah, he ain't watching.
He is a pain in the ass.
He would have probably opened up a stream by now if he knew if we were talking about him.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But I'd welcome him to stay because I've said most of this to his face. He has apologizing to do. And he would, I think there are still people in the community that would welcome him back if he showed a little contriteness, a little legitimate regret over some of his more bombastic comments and actions, and assure people that he's caught in the moment and that he does care for all of you. I've heard him speak of all of you guys very well.
Right.
Edge of time, he's gone on about your comments numerous times. Black Phillip, I know you guys, when you're going great, you fire on all cylinders. I've watched him lose friendships left, right, and center across YouTube because he is a narcissist. He can't back down. But it is a legitimate mental problem. It's not something he's made up because he's a bitch. This guy's mental health is a serious thing. We've all got little problems.
I told him out about it too, and maybe it's the wrong way to go about it. But I'm like, well, sometimes you got to hear the truth in order for you to,
right,
understand what the hell you're doing to these people, because we're all real people. I mean, we're all actually friends. I mean, I'm friends with, obviously, consider Red. I consider you a friend at the time, a friend, because you've all been on my channels, and supporting me. And I consider Scotty a friend, one of my dearest friends out of anybody, and Jill's a friend, and
Scotty and I live like 10 minutes from each other. Never met the guy, but he lives in Mississauga. I live just right on the border of Mississauga.
Well, I never know when to take him seriously, because
that's a problem too.
Because he's like, well, I don't want to talk to people who can't have me on their channel. I'm like, well, I guess you don't want to talk to me then, because I don't have a channel, So, like, do you take him seriously or not?
Well,
You know, like, do you take him seriously or not? You know? So, you know, like, do you take him seriously or not? You know? So, you know, like, do you take him seriously or not? You know? So, you know, like, do you take him seriously or not? You know? So, you know, like, do you take him seriously or not? You know? You know? So, you know, like, do you take him seriously or not? You know?
Well, Yeah, I do understand. You're right. There is times where his humor doesn't translate, and I wasn't there, so I don't know. I'm willing to say, like, if you really wanted to,
he's
you
got
go
bitter
on. But
about it. He's got bitter about it, to be honest. Like there was times when he's a little overzealous at times, but he's got bitter about it the last couple of months. I'll give him that much credit.
Yeah, no, he used to have some. He used to have pretty hard and fast rules. I've only been on his show ever twice, and I've known the guy for like 18 months.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd invited me on twice before, and he pulled the same bullshit trick on me. We were on somebody else's channel. They wrapped up. He's like, Red Shirt, come over with me. We're going to do a stream. I want to have you on and talk about movies. He knows because I'm a sucker to talk about movies. So oh, great. Yeah, definitely. I go over there. I'm sitting in the chat. Hey, what's going on? Hey, what's going on? Hey, yeah, everything's cool. Hang on. Okay, throw me down the link. He says, okay, well, what's your email address? I'm not writing my email address in the chats. Just throw me down the fucking link. Well, you see, Red Shirt, and now this time Spider-Man showed up when they were hanging, or somebody else, and as long as he's got one other person, he's good. So then it became, well, Red Shirt, we do have a rule on the channel that you got to be on the show to get on the show. I don't know, maybe you could Trojan horse yourself on one day or something, but I really need your Shakespearean-like prose. And okay, fuck you. You just got me over here because you were lonely. So, and then like 2 months later, he did the same thing. I reminded him of that, and he said, no, that was just a joke. And then he didn't come back for a while. And I didn't, to be honest. Like, I was a little pissed off with him, but not seriously hurt. Just like, okay, this guy's kind of a time waster. Why would you invite me to talk about movies on your channel after we talked 2 hours about movies on a guy's channel? And frankly, I schooled the guy. Like, when I first met him, the very first conversation we had was about Michael Caine. And given his age, because I could tell it pretty quickly, we were in the same ballpark, and that he was very knowledgeable on that. And I mistook that as a knowledge of film. I didn't realize that was a niche knowledge of his. He just happened to get a couple of Michael Caine movies. The one with Zulu Dawn, or Zulu, I think it is. Right. The one where he got his icon from for a couple of years, the Michael Caine icon, and shit like that. So when he talked about those, I mistook that in that one conversation that he knew about movies. And since talking to him, he doesn't. He's a sweetheart guy that he'll chat, but he doesn't know a fucking thing about cinema, really. He keeps coming up with the Rashomon effect. Motherfucker. I finally pinned him down. What is the fucking Rashomon effect? What in Rashomon are you talking about? He's never seen the movie Rashomon. And he's comparing it to The Usual Suspects. And he's calling the Rashomon effect the trope of the unreliable narrator. Oh, shut the fuck up. You can't just randomly assign meanings to known words and say that's how it works for you.
He'll be a stickler on you, though.
Oh, 100%. Here's the irony. I started telling you this. He had this stream on the second time I'd ever been on his channel, and it was called On Your Channel and Muted. Hilarious. And I go on there. I'm on there for 3 minutes, and he mutes me so he can rant on me because I don't understand the trope of the unreliable narrator. And when he comes back, and it just went into, and I understand some people call me on that. Why is it okay for Princess Bride, but it's not okay for he thinks the trope of the unreliable narrator is somebody that lies to him, that fills something that never happens. You fucking twit. It's a movie. None of it fucking happened. They made it up. Okay, get over that. To tell me that because the Princess Bride, you were fine for, you know what it is? Here's the narcissism again. He watched the movie the first time and he got really pissed off. He got fooled. He's the kind of guy that saw The Crying Game and then went out of there and wanted to kill fucking transvestites because the whole movie he thought that guy was a chick right until the last scene where her dick comes out. And he's like, what? That movie's terrible. No, it made him think something else other than what was true.
You lied to me.
Why
did you lie to me?
Okay, we didn't need the Crying Game last 2 minutes of that. That was a horrible fucking ending. That was terrible. But
I know all there is to know about the Crying Game.
Spoilers.
Spoilers.
Point I'm making is the difference between the Princess Bride is at the beginning of the movie, the grandfather's reading the book. He understands this is a story. What he doesn't understand when he had to wait to the end of the movie before it's revealed that Kaiser Soze, the whole story was made up. Therein lies the trope of the unreliable narrator, what he can't stand most in film. Fuck me. They pulled the wool over your eyes and you're angry about it. Wow. Just, it doesn't, make sense. But, and then to go on and compare that borderline two-hit wonder, borderline pedophile from things I heard. I won't go into that, but we've all heard about Bryan Singer. You know what I mean? He's got some stories behind him. And the guy that did okay, maybe 2 okay X-Men movies and maybe I'd stretch it to 3.
The Queen movie that he barely directed, but still got credit for it.
Yeah. He's to compare that guy to one of the fucking titans of world cinema, like Akira Kurosawa, a guy who has benefited the world community immeasurably with his art, with his vision, with his skill, and you drag him through the mud because you can't think that you want to name something the Rashomon effect, and you won't even watch the fucking movie. You have no idea. There's nothing in Rashomon. There is no unreliable narrator in the fucking movie. You can't prove it. If you ever watched it, you know that. You guys have seen Rashomon, I assume.
No, but
I'm talking over your head.
I think it's
no, but go ahead.
I think it's funny that he asked me if I've seen a movie that he hasn't seen. Like, why would you ask me if I've seen Rashomon if you haven't seen it?
Well, no, he never did ask. My grievance with him is that he's going on about this movie like he knows about it. And when I asked him to explain himself, he confessed he's never seen the movie.
Right.
And then I'm like, what the fuck? How can you drag this guy down? You don't know what you're talking about. And then he timed me out on his channel. I think I said, no, I actually said it's pretty arrogant to go badmouth one of the greatest directors in the world and you didn't even bother to see his movie. Go watch the movie. It's magnificent.
Right.
But he wasn't reading his chats for 40-minute spurts at a time. And he got to the point with, I think it's a little arrogant. Oh, you think I'm arrogant? Do you, Rep? You're timed out. That'll teach you. You fucking child. You couldn't make it to the end of the sentence. And even if you could, it went right over your fucking head. So, yeah, I do get why people get frustrated with the guy.
Whether you call him a hipster or you call him a...
Ad hominem! Ad hominem! He'll scream at you in the phone, maintaining, I don't call people names. I go look at his list when he gets angry and he tells me honestly to my face, he says, I've never called people names. You write them down. You title your show a fucking name. How many shows do you got say, hey, Butthurt Bill, get off the pot? Or LGG, come on, man, it's just a skit. Mr. Londell, bitch, please.
Block Philip. Like, you're full
of
shit.
Yeah.
Block Philip.
He called me a cheat when we were playing whatever the hell we were playing.
That thing that caused that whole shit between he and Scotty would just
and he's like, oh, you're diminishing my enjoyment of the game. I'm like, I'm diminishing your enjoyment. Oh boy.
I watched that entire video too. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with this guy, man?
Well, I didn't get into the Risk thing because, quite frankly, watching guys play Risk, it's like watching guys play golf. I'd rather play, but I don't really want to sit and watch.
Well, I told him I'd try. I tried. I failed.
Right. Did you ever play before?
Years ago.
Right. Yeah, sure. You haven't played the game since you were a kid, and a bit rusty, but fuck it. You went in and you tried.
Yeah.
But again, like I said, I still pitch for the guy because... Pardon?
I said I should have known better. It was on me, because you couldn't distinguish between, you couldn't look and tell the fives from the ones, and you know, it
was poorly executed.
How many times are you going to do that before you're like, this isn't the way to do it? There are computer versions of this that we could all be playing.
Yeah, evenly on the same. Everybody's got the same information. There's no mistakes. It's right in front of you. That's just. I don't blame you for trying. Everybody has those memories. We're all boys. We all played Risk at some point. You remember getting around the board. We didn't have it on the computer. But today is a different day. And Risk is a complicated enough game. A computer justifies it 100%. Keep track of everything. There's no problems with the banker fucking up how many men or cannons or fucking I forget whatever divisions or whatever it is. I think I'm confusing it with Art of War too, but you know what I'm saying. And you go back and remember all that. A real pain in the ass. So,
and he keeps doubling down. He's like, now we need a third control deck. I'm like, if you can't tell what's going on between one on screen, one in your hands, what's the third one going to do for you?
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, but at least Edge had the gall to leave the stream, before it got any worse. And then of course, Cap, him being him, and Scotty gets involved, trying to play peacemaker, and then he ends up going all off on Scotty instead, and which is what caused all this chaos we've been dealing with the last 2 months already. So oh my god, really
worse than Monopoly. Monopoly. Yeah.
It's a stupid game to try to play like that. You're right. You need a computer. There's no two ways about it. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's not watching right now.
Oh, I'm sure we'll hear all about it.
The
loneliest man on YouTube is what I call him.
Well, it's unfortunate because he does a lot of it to himself. But guys, I do mean, when I say he isn't completely unaware, he is in the moment, and that's the problem. But the problem, I know I shouldn't put this on anybody, because just because I don't do it doesn't mean I have any right to say anybody else should act this way. But I think if everybody just blew back on him when he blew back first, this would have been a tiny problem that would have got quashed 18 months ago. And there would be no crying women. There would be no blocking. There would be no vitriol fucking streams where he just sits there and hates on somebody because his feelings are genuinely hurt. He does.
He does this thing to where he makes it seem like he's willing to, let bygones be bygones. He allows you on his stream. Then he brings it up again, and you're like, I thought you brought me on because you.
Well, that's right there. It's, brother, I'm not sure, Dave. You brought me on here to have another argument. I got to go. I came here to, chat and good fellowship. If you're not up for that, I can understand. But get him right away. You don't let him get an inch in with that shit. And he'll behave. No, you're right. He wants to join in. He wants to be in the community. He wants to lead the community. He's not ready for that. But maybe someday, if he learns himself, if he learns his pace, he is charming. People will go to his show. He makes funny mouth noises. But that's the big part of his shtick. He makes funny mouth noises. And people like it. They do like a little bombastism now and then. And to have that guy in the group, that's a bit of a firebrand. We've all had friends like that, the hot-tempered one or something. Now, maybe you got rid of them out of your life because they were uncontrollable. But if they really are willing to show contrition and learn from their mistakes, then I think, it behooves us as the community to bring them back. But do it in a unified, structured way where, we all have everybody's back. So he starts on you, Black Phillip. I start on him. So does Edge of Time. And then he realizes, whoa, I'm getting ganged up on. But at the same time, we don't take cheap shots when he shows up on the show and he's not fighting back.
Well, I agree with you on that, for sure.
Yeah.
That's not what I want. That's what I want, even on my
channel. You want respect, you got to give respect. Right?
Oh, exactly.
I think we'd agree that. So I would suggest talking to a few guys and suggesting the idea. I'm not pushing for anything, but I do think we're better with him than without him. I do.
Ooh, yeah.
He isn't bad people. We've just let him go unchecked for too long. When I say we, I'm throwing myself in because I could have stuck up for other people plenty of times. But I also don't know a lot of people. Sometimes I just shut my fucking mouth. If he comes after me, he'll regret it, but he doesn't. And I don't give him opportunities, though. When he gets like that, I'll walk away because I don't need a 2-month-long YouTube fight with a guy I barely know. So it's easier most of the time to back off.
He goes into this dick mode, too, where he's like, well, it doesn't matter if I'm good or bad, so I'm just going to be a dick on every channel, and people let him get away with that, too.
Well, here's what I'm proposing, is that we stop that. You allow him on the channel. As soon as this dickery starts, you've got to monitor it and say, hey, everybody, hang on. Sorry. Cockney, what's the problem here? Oh, well, okay. Indoor voice, buddy. Indoor voice. Talk to us. What's the problem? Control it right away. He needs the attention, but in that kind of case, it's negative attention, and then you reinforce it with negative actions instead. Why are we all stopping the conversation because of you? What's going on? Well, geez, no, I don't hear it that way. Does anybody in the chat hear it that way? No? Cockney, you want to behave? You want to play? We want you here, but we're not looking to get bullied. That sort of thing, if you want to be that frank. He might need it. He needs boundaries set, obviously. But
he follows his Zen, and he expects everybody to keep up. Like, he expects once he said something once, everyone else knows what the hell he's talking about too, and it's just
is frustrating. And he tried to call me on that the other day, and I called him right back on that. Your sentence makes no sense. What were we talking about? The trope of the unreliable narrator. Narrator, literally by definition, means somebody is commenting on events happening or what have happened to bring people. Oh, well, no, I don't mean narrator like somebody. No, you don't mean what the word means. What? What argument are we having? So yeah, you can't.
But you see what I mean? Like he'll go all the way to ordering the script just to follow his Zen, and I mean that's admirable, but not everyone's going to be able to keep up with that,
No. But also, it doesn't hurt to remind. And hey, wonderful you're stuck in a loop on a couple of movies, buddy. Like I moved on from Pulp Fiction 20 years ago, but great. You're rediscovering Quentin Tarantino. I'm not knocking, but don't beat me over the head because you got the script. And I stayed out of that too because I knew we were going to get into an argument. I can't remember exactly what it was. It all hems down to the woman saying a line differently, and was that Quentin Tarantino? And he thought having the script would prove it. And I do remember saying to him once, unless there's an actual handwritten footnote from Quentin Tarantino on the side saying something to the effect of, yeah, Cynthia, or whoever the script supervisor girl is, I know this line isn't right. I want it to read this way instead. You have no proof. There's no way he made any kind of transcription on that on the fucking script on shooting day. We would have heard about it by now. There is nothing like that. It was a mistake. Let it go. Or don't. Or believe in a conspiracy or whatever. That's great. Just don't beat me over the head with it for the next 6 weeks because you dropped $300 on a fucking screenplay or whatever it was. He dropped. I don't know how much it was. But
thinking it was actually signed by him. I don't think it was actually signed by him. So
signed by somebody that had a pen that kind of squiggled Quentin.
Okay, I can make Quentin Tarantino's signature look decent.
Yeah. But so anyway. Look, guys, you all got your own conscience, and you like the guy or you don't. I'm pitching for him because I do like him, and I like the community when he's there, when he's behaving. I agree 100%. He's gotten out of line a dozen times on a dozen different channels at a dozen different points. And he shouldn't have been allowed to get that far. But we did allow it. Whether we were silent about it or we just didn't feel we could fight back. And if we as a community, you guys talk to the people if you're willing to entertain the idea, start getting a collective idea that we bring them back softly on people's channels, just even put in the title of your show. Cockney, if you're around, you're welcome on. Oh, you want me on? Okay, here's why I want you on. This is what I'm telling you. We want you in the community. You want to stick around. This is what's going to happen. You are going to have to tone it down a little, brother. As soon as you raise your voice at me on my channel, you're getting muted. As soon as you start talking bullshit, you're getting kicked.
You can do whatever.
And that's going to happen on my channel, on Scott's channel, on Jill's channel, on everybody's channel. You are welcome back. There are conditions. And you know what? Talk to him straight. I think he'll respect you for it. He'll get definitely more respect for your man.
Yeah, but no, I did that. I straight up did that. I said, look, dude, I got on YouTube. Yeah, I got on YouTube to talk to you. And then you're like, I don't talk to people who don't have channels that I can go on. So I'm feeling a little slighted. He said he had nothing to say for that whole whatever. We were on for at least an hour. Yeah, he just got quiet about it. And I'm like, so I'm not sure bringing it to him direct really solves the problem either. You know?
But the difference in what I'm suggesting too, Edge, again, I'm sorry for what happened to you. I wasn't there, so I can't really comment on it directly. But if it's a unified effort, if everybody's on the same page, this is where the strength lies in numbers. Yeah. He can't go to Scott's channel and get away with it, and he can't go to Black Phillip's channel and get away with it. He got away with you because he does get big for his britches. He should have been slapped down then. I wouldn't have sat around on his channel. I'm not trying to prove anything or nothing. I was so, okay, buddy, that's how you feel. Talk you back when I'm good and famous. And then just probably ride him on every other channel I see. Make sure everybody knows he won't have you on if you don't have a fucking channel. What a great friend of the community he is. He'd cave. He caved like a house of fucking cards. He got away with it because he was on his own show. And that's another thing. Stop going on his show. Don't. Nobody goes on his show until
I have, but I see, like I tell Scotty constantly, like, stop going on this damn show. He's gonna bait you, and then he's gonna say something, and it's gonna piss you off, and then
if he can prove he can behave on your show, that's the condition. But also understand that all those rules apply from my show to your show. You start talking shit to me, I'm gonna tell you once, I'm getting ready to leave. You say goodbye, don't expect me back, and don't expect back on my show.
Right. You gotta look out for your own mental health too, though.
Of course you do,
Mr.
I come on YouTube to get away from all the bullshit in real life, and so then I do it on YouTube, and what the fuck?
I mean, have you ever listened to all of Cockney's shows in a row? I mean, after a while, it starts to get to you. It's
but he sometimes he hits those heights. Like, he does have a magic to him. Yeah, I do like the guy. He's charming. He can be funny. He can be quick.
He's just unmanageable, It's like...
But, and I did tell him, blood sugar. Listen, we're all getting older. And this stuff, it sometimes hits you and you don't realize it. You're getting upset or angry over something when really, if you had a cup of tea and a Snickers bar in you, you'd be like, fuck it. It wouldn't boil your blood so quick. That's one reason. But, like I say, he can be a huge pain in the ass, but he can also be a wonderful, funny guy. And I think in the community, we are better with him than without him. All I'm suggesting is if you quietly want to talk to a couple of people and get an idea together about trying to get him back, because it's kind of sad watching him stuck on a shoe. He was there today for 2 hours alone, I think, just waiting for somebody to show up. I couldn't. I was busy with medical stuff today and shit, but I did feel genuinely sorry for him. And I know, speaking to him on the side, he does realize that he has hurt a lot of people in the community. He didn't mean to, but he gets caught up in the moment sometimes, and he can't help himself. And he says things before he really thinks. So, nobody should cut him slack if they feel they're too hurt or they can't do it. I'm not asking for anybody to completely betray what they are. But if you can find forgiveness, if you can think those times we all got on together, you know what? Maybe there are more of those to have. So what the hell? We'll roll the dice one more time. Do it as a unit. Everybody's got everybody else's back. When he acts up, he's politely asked to leave. If he doesn't, boom, you're gone. I don't know. That's just how I feel, because I like it when everybody gets along. I like it when we're all on the same page, where the conversations are better, so much more entertaining. Sure, everybody likes a little drama, but we're all grown-ups here. This isn't fucking high school,
Well, sometimes he's just like, I'm just all about the clicks. More drama, more clicks. And I'm like, well, that's too bad if that's how you really look at it,
Yeah, and today I'm not going to hang out with you. But that's the thing, too. Just because he's like that today doesn't mean he's like that tomorrow. That day I told you he brought me on and he shut me up on his stream, completely oblivious to the irony. He's ranting about being muted on somebody's channel while he mutes me to rant about being muted on somebody else's channel. Absolutely oblivious to that, But But again, I know it wasn't maliciously done. He's caught in the moment. He wants a rant. So I'm not asking you guys to do anything you're uncomfortable with. I'm not. If you've had it with this shit, that's all I can say. I did tell him that I was talking to people and I was trying to, get people to, get back on board because I do like him. But he has hurt a lot of people. So
I've tried multiple times, and especially even if it's just between me and him, but you're gonna go around and still continue to talk trash, to people like Scotty or Jill, who I consider friends. I'm like, no, I stick up for my friend. That's just me. That's texting me. So.
And that's exactly what I'm suggesting everybody does. Don't let him get out of line. Don't let any one person have to deal. I'll deal with him every fucking day if I have to, but I'm not there. Mm-hmm. I've got no problem throwing down with anybody if I have to, because I don't look for it. But in a case like this, like it's, I don't know. Like I'm over talking the shit out of this too. I know. I'm not trying to manipulate the whole conversation.
I think we all are. I've been trying to figure out what the hell to do to fix this issue. This is when it just needs to. Yeah. I don't know. Who knows what to do? But anyway. So it's about to be 4 a.m. here. So
it's 5 a.m. here.
Yeah, but like I said, thank you. I didn't expect this stream to go on for over 3 hours, but like I said, I appreciate both you gentlemen for showing up. And,
thanks for having us.
Definitely.
Got big things planned for next month, so I'll let y'all. I'll definitely let y'all in the loop if y'all want to join. I'll let y'all know ahead of time. So y'all are more than welcome.
maybe you should tweet out your subjects so that people can support you a little bit instead of just coming in dry.
It's a good idea.
Or as a suggestion, if you talk about it again, underneath your thing here on your title page on what we're sitting on right now, you can write links and shit, and you can write information down at the bottom what the episode was about or whatever. If you put in, like, say for your directors or something, say, listen, I picked these 3 directors. I want everybody who has seen at least one of these 3 movies, and then go down. And then you've got everybody can say, oh, okay, you know what? I'm sorry. I didn't see the original Evil Dead. I saw Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness, but, I can talk about that. Okay, great. You at least saw 1 or 2 of the movies off of the list. So we all know what we're talking about.
No, I'll definitely put that in my mind. I'm open to any suggestions, from y'all or anybody else. So sure.
Yeah.
I think you should nail it down. Suggestions are good, but
waiting for other people to do your work for you.
No, I understand that, but like I said, I already have the subjects in my mind already. I've been planning this for like the last couple of months already, and we've been taking down notes. I already know the
just pick what you have endless enthusiam for.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He's giving you good advice. Hear him. A little bit of preparation pays. It really does.
No, I appreciate it. I really do. But anyway, like I said, gentlemen, it's appreciate y'all coming on tonight, and hopefully, I'm streaming it tomorrow night again. Obviously, my regular night, so 10:30 my time, Central Time. So hopefully, y'all can check it out.
All right, stay up, Insomniacs.
I know, right? Hey, thank you guys for coming on, and I'll see y'all next time.
All right,
cheers.
Bye-bye.
Take care, everyone. Bye bye.